Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wileyverse. Let me just throw this out on some social medias real quick. And then we'll get started with another episode of Wiley vs. Mitch, which has been a while.
Mm-hmm. It's like 4 weeks, I think. Still showing up as offline for me. It's weird. Well, no, it showed up as like, it said we were streaming, then I clicked on it. It's like, nope. Oh well.
Does it show?
I mean, it's mobile, who knows, right? It says that we're streaming, but when I click on it, it says we're offline. So.
Weird.
It says there we're fine.
Yep, it says we're on the stream. There's that. There's that. Okay. Now, so the word is out.
We needed sixes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So that's, I put that together for you.
Okay.
But we'll get that in a second. So this is an episode of Wiley vs. Mitch, in which I introduce Mitch to a whole new game system that he has never played before. Well,
or sometimes played.
Sometimes played, but in this case, a whole new game system that he hasn't played. Mitch is fairly new to role-playing games and tabletop, and as you can see from the wall behind me, I am not new to role-playing games. So we took this opportunity to take my knowledge, pass it on to everyone, and after I make a character, we explain the setting, we go through a couple encounters, I then pull out the big guns and murder him with an in-game content thing so you can see the scaling of the game.
I think the last time the big guy got a hit off and then I was murdered immediately.
You survived the car crash and then immediately died.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So in this episode, last episode we did Vampire the Masquerade, but this episode we are doing the brand new Expanse role-playing game. As you can probably tell from up above us, it says Expanse. The Expanse role-playing game is... the system it uses is a modified version of the adventure game engine, the Age system. I know that Green Ronin Publishing uses this system, and it's out there for a couple of their games. It's a 3D6 system with a little twist. I'm very interested in it. The book itself seems to have some inconsistencies. I think Rouge to Death has some inconsistencies, and I can touch on that when I get to them. But so far the system seems solid. There's some things I like, there's some things I don't like, and we'll go over all of that.
So you can say the book has inconsistencies in gameplay, or does it have inconsistencies compared to the books?
It has inconsistencies in its mechanics.
Oh, you read the books.
Right. So this is a very interesting version of Wiley vs. Mitch, because in this case, I do not know the setting outside of the TV or the TV series. But Mitch has read the books, and this role-playing game is based off the book version, not the TV version. So in this case, I will be explaining the mechanics to Mitch, and he will be explaining the universe and in-game lore to me and us. All right.
I'm hoping there's some Expanse fans out there that are going to come in and correct me. That's wrong. They're like,
whatever. How long ago did you read them?
It's been the last one I think I read a year and a half ago. They've been out for a little while, but I really got into the first 7. The books were released. I had a friend that was into reading them, and I read the first one like in a day or two and was just excited about it. And then I bought the second one, the third one, and then the fourth one. He gave me a copy of the 5th one, so I ended up reading all the way to the 5. I believe they're working on book 7 right now, if it's not already out. So I'm a little bit behind as far as that's concerned. But as far as this book is following, it's between book 1 and book 2, so I'm not missing a whole lot out on that. You guys won't miss a whole lot from my lore description.
So, sending one more message out.
Let's find out how many of these books there is.
I believe there's 7.
I think they are. There it is, yeah. There's 8.
Yeah.
So 7 is out and they're working on 8. Oh, never mind. They just released number 8. Well, I'm way behind. I gotta catch up. Also, if you're interested at all in the books, the artist that does the covers is amazing. His name is Daniel Dosu. He's a sci-fi artist. He's amazing. Fronts of the books are beautiful works of art. So if you're into that sort of thing, there's that.
So, The Expanse is a hard science-y, science fiction, space exploration, and political intrigue game. I'm going to go over just some mechanics view of the game real quick, and then I'm going to pass it over to him to talk about where the solar system lies in its current state of affairs, and what the factions are. So, the game system is pretty realistic. It tries to stick to some very cinematic, very lethal and hard choice game, but it's also supposed to represent like a novel or a story. So it has contrivances in it related to the main characters, the players, during gameplay, where they get advantages over the NPCs that are in the game. You'll find that you can take out thugs and minions fairly easily with single punch, single shot type of thing, where the heroes can take a beating and get through some things, but it's still a very, very hard game. It's very crunchy. It's not super math or anything like that, but when I say it's like kind of realistic. Unlike D&D, where you can get hit in the face with a warhammer 50 times before your hit points get low.
So does this hero survive thing apply to the NPCs as well?
Some of the NPCs, if they have a name, if they have a reason to be there, like if they're an enemy or a major cast,
Gotcha.
the more it's kind of a weird thing. If you have a name, then you're more important to the story. If you have speaking lines, then you're more important to the story.
Gotcha.
The more important you are to the story, the more of these abilities you have to stay around
Gotcha.
And not die.
It's very much like a Star Trek episode.
Right, like the ensign goes down, the security officer goes down, like, oh, there's Kirk, and there's Spock, and there's the doctor, and then there's... who are you again?
Oh, no.
Captain, I found something.
Yeah, pretty much. What's your name? Ensign? No, I think your rank.
Not your rank, your name. So in that aspect, I'm really interested in seeing this game and how lethal and real it is. It has some great... It's really kind of designed for beginners as well. So it kind of walks you through a lot of things that, as a veteran player to RPGs, you'll ignore. And there's a lot of just over talking of what can be done and what needs to be done, and how you handle situations that if you are a veteran player you won't need to worry about. One of the other things I really like about this book, and I don't know if it's in the other age system books, but they repeat themselves. If a rule is pertinent in 2 places, they will put that rule in both places. They won't have a, hey, see the gun rules back in this page. In the equipment section, they have the rules for guns, how much damage they do, and all that kind of stuff. In the combat section, they have the rules for guns, how much damage they do, and everything. Same with the armor and everything.
That's nice.
When they get to the Game Master section, it goes back through everything that they've already talked about in the rules section that is pertinent to GMs. It's wherever you remember that rule being for a reference, that rule is there. So
that's fun, because that's a problem with someone new like me with the player's handbook for 5e for Dungeons and Dragons. Is it's like, see spell list for sorcerer on page 974, and I'm like, wait, all right, flip. But I understand too that this has been around for 1,000 years, and the book would be this thick if they did the same thing. So.
Oh yeah, and I'm surprised they've kept it this thin, especially with there's a good 4 chapters of just lore. It could be more. It could be 6 chapters. It's the entire solar system and what its kind of politics is at, and then it goes into one section on Earth, complete section on Earth, one complete section on Mars, one complete section on the outer.
Well, my lore won't be that good.
Yeah. So
Maps are beautiful.
Yeah, the future history from Chapter 7, Future History, which is the entirety timeline. Then it goes into the Belt, Earth, the Outers, Mars, and I think another one. But it's got, I think, from Chapter 7 to Chapter 12, all of those chapters are lore, are setting material and lore and all kinds of things, including planetary sizes, their moons, everything that's on every planet. So this is packed full of information. None of it which I read because he's here and I'm going to rely on him.
We'll see how this works.
And you don't need to know everything. You can.
It's true. It's true.
If you're really a fan of the Expanse, you can be in lore and things that are going on. But if you're not, and you just want to use this as a sci-fi setting, kind of a rough and tumble, realistic sci-fi setting, it's perfect for that.
I say, out of the 2 people that I know that have read this book along with me, I'm the least knowledgeable because they've read them like 4 or 5 times each. I couldn't get enough of it. The book is beautiful, though.
Yeah, I've got the collector's edition, so without the cover, it looks like this, leatherette bound, with all 3 of the logos for the belt, the Martian Confederacy or Republic or whatever it is, and the Earth.
Martian
and the OPA.
Martian Congressional Republic.
That's it.
MCR.
It also has a big map with travel times and communication times. Kind of averages, because it can be anything you want, and if you really wanted to get hard science-y, you could actually take a model of the solar system, advance it to this timeline, and figure out where everything is at any given point.
That's true.
And that will tell you how long it'll take to get anywhere. But I'm going to turn it over real quick to you to just do a quick summary of the setting.
So the story takes place. The time is not very exact because times have changed and we've moved around and stuff like that. But it's around the year 2350. It's about 150 years after the discovery of the drive. So people had basically back in the 2030s had made it to Mars and had started colonization there, and hadn't moved on to terraforming just yet, but we're kind of getting colonization underway. When people were looking for newer and faster ways to travel, because that's really the main issue with colonization on any planet here in the solar system, is the time it takes to travel from one place to the other. This being kind of a hard science novel, we haven't gotten into like faster than light travel as of yet. Gotten pretty close, that sort of stuff. But what really rocketed this culture and this environment forward was the discovery of the Epstein drive, which was done by Solomon Epstein, which is roughly about 90 years after we colonized Mars. So that's about in 2140. Solomon Epstein was working on a new fraction of light speed travel sort of thing. He's trying to figure out a drive that can propel this harder and harder and harder, and he succeeded.
Mainly, he was trying to figure out the problem with you need a lot of fuel to get thrust, and adding more fuel adds mass, which then it becomes to a point that it's a losing battle. Like, the more fuel you add, the more mass you have, the more fuel you need. And the Epstein drive solved that by breaking that ratio. It can pump out a lot more power for thrust than it needs fuel. And
the book is a little loose on that. Some of it's fusion, some of it's this sort of stuff, because it's not as hard science as the book is.
This
it's not
calls it a
science.
Fusion reactor.
Perfect. So I was going to say they don't get super deep in it, but anyway.
Oh, this is also written, by the way. This game is written by the authors of the books.
So the authors of the books' names are James S.A. Corey. It's a pen name for 2 gentlemen that are from New Mexico, whose names I forgot at the moment, which is killing me. I'm just thinking about that.
It is Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank.
There it is. I was like, I know one of them is a president. But all right, so Epstein succeeded and liquefied himself in the same token, which is something that you have to worry about in this. We'll get into in a second, but the faster you go, this isn't Star Trek, this isn't Star Wars. We're not slipping into a warp stream. You're being propelled. So maneuvers are extremely dangerous. If you're going 7 or 8, 9, 12 Gs, making a hard right turn, fucks you up. So these ships have something similar to a couple of other sci-fi things where they stick you full of juice and you place you in what's called a crash couch. The crash couch is a big soft gel sort of chair where all of your controls are in the handles. It looks a lot different than it's described a lot different in the books than it is in the show. So if you're fans of the show, those crash couches don't look like anything. They're just sitting in front of their screens. They look very Matrix. In the book, they're on gimbals. Yes, it is. It's super more realistic. So as far as the gimbals are concerned, you're basically sitting in a chair. Your hands are kind of on a set of consoles that you can move with your fingers and mess with. The screen's right in front of you. And the crash couch is kind of a half-egg sort of shape that you can be pressed into. If you make a right turn, the gimbals turn too. So the ship is making a right now, but because of the G-forces, you're being moved on a set of gimbals. You'll move up and down. You're basically always facing your screens and stuff, but your chair is being propelled and moved around and things like that. So some of the dangers of that are high turn maneuvers, slow stop or high speed stopping. So you're being pressed forward into your harness, that sort of thing. And another one can be a problem with high speed acceleration, which is why most of the pilots and a lot of the support staff are juiced. They're basically given stuff that's some suppressors and some stimulants. The suppressors kind of allow you to take more Gs. The stimulants allow you to stay conscious during high G maneuvers, and they can long-term use of these can cause sickness. A lot of pilots really don't like the stims. They kind of aren't ready. They don't want to do it. You kind of it's kind of like testing your finger for diabetes. These guys kind of describe this like, here comes the juice, like, ah. And as soon as it happens, they're able to kind of wake up and do their thing. So that's space travel. And
they talk about the passengers of of a ship. They get a concoction of the juice that kind of sedates them and helps them, while the crew get ones that amps them up, keeps them hyper-focused, and actually suppresses emotion so that they can think at the speed that they're going and make the calls and make the reactions that they do.
So speed travel is a big issue in this. So imagine if like he said, you're getting two different types of cocktail. Sometimes you're not ready. Ship's got to leave right away and you're not in your crash couch, you're liquefied on the wall, or you're in your crash couch and you don't have time for juice, you're unconscious now, that sort of stuff. And then you start sustaining injuries from, like long-term G or from high G maneuvers, whiplash, crushed vessels, your eyes can be hurt and reshaped and stuff like that from distance. So that fun stuff is in there. So that's space travel and some of the physics behind it. So let's talk a little bit about where we're at now. So like I said, it's about 2350. We colonized Mars around 2030 something. I think it's 2032 is when they say that Mars has been colonized. So with the discovery of the Epstein drive, we're able to propel ourselves farther and farther into the solar system. So in between first and second books, without giving anything away, like we haven't really made it past the solar system. So we're still talking about being in the solar system, which is really the solar system. The solar system?
Yes.
Right, cool.
Our solar system.
Our solar system. Well, it's called the solar system because it's soul.
Yes.
Other ones are planetary systems or star systems. Anyway, so now we have people that have funded these corporations. We're able to mine Mars. We're able to mine the outer planet. We're able to mine the Kuiper Belt and the asteroids that we find around that sort of stuff. We can get to the moons of Phobos and Deimos on Mars pretty easily. We can make it to Saturn. We can make it to Jupiter. All these space has been opened up to us. Basically, we can get there in a matter of weeks, matter of hours, that kind of stuff. So now, of course, corporations are mining stuff. They're making money. The mineral possession of Earth is far beyond the Earth's capacity at this point. So
there are 30 billion people on Earth, and all the resources are pretty much tapped.
So we're going out and getting stuff. We're running out of water. We're running out of air. So those things are being mined elsewhere. So we have the result is 3 factions. You have the United Nations, right? What is the Earth one? Jeez, I just put that right out of my head.
I'm not sure what the entire Earth is called. Oh, no, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
So I don't know the name of it. I just realized that right now. I feel stupid.
Why is this not right here? Here it is. And they don't tell you.
It's the UN. It's the United Nations.
And here they just call them Earthers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. I mean, because you're an Earther.
Okay, so there's 3 factions in the show. There's 3 factions in this game, and they're in the book as well. So Earth has kind of unified because we've run out of stuff, and we're having to reach out to the stars, that sort of thing. And we kind of got the influx of air and water and materials, that sort of thing. So we've put people on planetary basic, or you do service, that sort of thing. So everyone's more or less cared for. The governing body is the UN, so that's kind of what you'll hear the Earth people refer to as the UN, which is the United Nations, obviously, because now literally the nations are all united. Earth is a single front. You also have the Martian Congressional Republic, and that is the colonists of Mars formed their own government and fought for independence from Earth in 21 something. I want to say 2180, 2190. I'm sure someone can fix that for me if you look it up, that sort of stuff. So now Mars is its own independent colony. Now it's basically a country, but the entire planet is now independent. Finally, the third faction isn't really a planet or a governing body or anything like that. It's called the Outer Planet Alliance, and even that doesn't encompass everybody that's out there. So since we're moving farther and farther out into space, stations have been set up. There's miners that are permanently on individual asteroids. The asteroid belt is being mined.
Water is being mined.
Water's being pulled out. Ice hauling is a big thing. All of the moons and any of the planets that have any kind of water or oxygen that can be tapped are being tapped. This takes years. It takes decades. So now there are people that are out there that don't call Earth home anymore. There's Martians and there's belters.
Quite specifically, people that have been bred and born in zero and microgravity over generations, that have actually altered their bodies, and they have to have chemical stimulus and help, pharmaceutical help, to maintain a bone density and their livelihoods. This is like a huge breakthrough in medicine, as these drugs that were meant to help people that just do short jaunts or go up to a station for a year have now turned into lifestyle drugs that keep entire populations able to be out and working 24/7, 365, never have to set foot on a planet.
You have to think about it sort of like having asthma drugs, or if you've seen Equilibrium, taking a Prozium or something like that. You need calcium stimulants. You need blood thinners of some kind too, a little bit, or blood thickeners, excuse me, because everything's too much.
Because if you get cut in zero gravity, it'll just keep bleeding.
It's procoagulants, not anticoagulants, which I thought was really cool.
Yes, this is pretty hard sci-fi. It is not super crunchy as a system, but it takes into consideration real physics.
Yes, it's not like that. So one of the things he was tapping into is something I was going to say was that you've got your Earthers, you've got your Martians, and you've got your Belters, and gravity becomes an issue as well. So just like in the ships where gravity is what's kind of breaking and killing you, these people have formed different body structures and stuff like that. So you have Earthers, which people think are short and stocky at this point, because there's people out there that have never been on Earth gravity. Then you've got Martians, because they're on a much smaller gravity. They tend to be bigger, taller, and they're actually a little bit, not stronger, but they just look bigger. They look like bigger humans. Then when you get to the belt, people that have been living on the belt their entire lives for generation after generation can grow to 7.5, 8 feet. That's 8 is kind of the extreme, but 6.5 is more than average, almost under. So you end up starting to be around 7.5 feet. Now the problem becomes gravity conversion. People that have grown up on the belt can't stand up on Earth. They would even have trouble standing up on Mars, because now their bone structure and their musculature is not meant to support their full weight. They would also have heart problems, breathing problems. Their guts would move down into their body sac. They'd have trouble breathing. They'd have trouble making their diaphragm pull in and out. And they would have to be submerged in water to be comfortable, that sort of stuff. It's a little weird. And then Martians have something similar, where they can go to Earth, but it's heavy, it's thick, the air feels gross, that sort of stuff. For some crunchy bits,
if Earth is 1G, which is the standard for humanity to think of, microgravity is less than 0.1 G, low gravity is 0.1 to 0.8 G, and normal gravity is 1 G. There's places that have heavy gravity, which is 2 or 4 or more, but Martian is, I believe, 0.8. gravity versus R1, and most belters are either born in 0 or 0.1 gravity, being on stations and such.
There's also some psychological effects that go along with this. So Earthers tend to not do well in space for long periods of time. The gravities, they don't adjust. They feel confined, or floating around is too weird, or they can't keep their food down, or they experience spinal swelling, that sort of stuff. It takes time to acclimate to 0G versus regular G. But it's easier for them. The same with Martians. Martians have a better time acclimating to full gravity or 0G than Earthers do. And then, like I said, with Beltas, it's almost impossible for them to go to regular G. The other effects are most Martians and Beltas have never been outside. So terraforming on Mars is still taking place, but it's going to be generations, it's going to be like 150, 250 years, they think, before they're really going to be able to open their domes and be able to breathe the air, and even that's kind of tentative. So in the book, they make a couple of descriptions of Martians when they first come to Earth. You either keep your shield down on your helmet and look at the floor, or you have a panic attack, because you look up and now you've got this
agoraphobia,
incredible space, and Belters can't even comprehend that. They've seen space, obviously, they can go, extravehicular, but as far as standing on a surface and looking out, that'll probably never happen. So they've only ever seen videos of that sort of thing. So with that Belta thing being said, Beltas are anyone will call themselves a Belta that's grown up out in the belt or in the outer planets. In other words, like mining the moons of Saturn, or pulling helium-3 out of Saturn's atmosphere itself, or being over in Jupiter, or growing up on the asteroid belt. Those people are Beltas. That's where the name comes from. The OPA is a faction that fights against corporate tyranny. So Earth is really the founder of humanity. We really did send these people out to bring stuff back. It just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. Mars wanted to be their own independent colony, and so they fought for independence and won that. The Outer Planet Alliance represents Beltas kind of informally. So Beltas all work for Mars or Earth or both. They're bringing back water, they're bringing back minerals, they're sending mining shipments back and forth, that sort of thing. But they're held hostage. Their air and their water is at the liberty of the company. All this water and all this air that they're mining and sending back with all these minerals isn't necessarily given to them. They get a ration of it. And they always want more. People always want more, And it's tough to live in the belt, so they should get a larger chunk, I think.
They are a marginalized workforce, completely marginalized.
So now there is these three factions. You've got the UN, who thinks they have kind of control over everything, and they rightfully do, in their minds, have that. Martian colonies developed what's called the Martian Congressional Royal Navy, the MCRN. They are they're the biggest navy out of everybody's, because they've got the resources from their own planet and a smaller population, so they can do more with what they have. And they remain independent, but they still need water and stuff from the belt. The belt is not represented by a formal government, but the OPA is rising in this part of the story, which is the Outer Planet Alliance, and they're more of a rebel faction than anything else, and so they kind of fight. So what you'll see a lot of is people pitting against each other as far as like the political intrigue is concerned. The OPA tries to make attacks on Mars look like they came from Earth, and Earth tries to make attacks on the OPA look like they came from Mars, and vice versa. So there's a lot of this weird little three-way triangle thing going on, and it's a lot of fun. So that's a lot of the lore. It's kind of a basic. I can go way deeper, but we're not going to do that right now. So
we'll hit things as we go, and if you have questions, please feel free to ask. But yeah, the next part is we're going to do character creation. We're going to go through the steps. We're going to make him a character and see how that goes. We'll grab the water.
Yep, let's do it. All right.
So, if you have any questions, let me know. He's going to be right back. Also, if you've watched the show or read the books, this is hard sciencey, but there is some creepy, crazy stuff going on with it. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched or anything like that, but things don't just stay Earth sciencey for the entirety of the...
This sober edition of the Wiley Verse is not sponsored by San Pellegrino, but we're available.
We're available.
Oh, so I should say a little bit real quick. Just at this point in the story, after all that faction stuff and things like that, there has been discovery of an extrasolar life form deemed the proto-molecule, and it infected a Eros station, which was a large asteroid that had a colony built into it. that was using drives to keep it in a rotation that was adequate, that sort of thing. And just about everybody on it was killed and kind of came back as weird zombies. And without getting too much more into that Arrow station was guided into a collision course with Venus and crashed, and that's kind of where the story takes off, where this is set. So we'll see some what the people that found it deemed the proto-molecule as well. So there is a little bit of, as hard sciencey as this is, there is still some fun alien stuff in there too. So. And
I may set this before the events or during the events of that, just for simplicity's sake, depending on the storyline and what he creates and how we go about it. So, character creation.
We're going to see you tomorrow, Robert. That's where the weird comes in.
If you haven't watched The Expanse, Robert, you really need to do that. Character creation is in 10 steps, and it's almost a life path style character creation. And I really like life path character creation. This is like life path light. But you're going to create a character and put together where you're from, what you've been doing, what your childhood was like, and what you do for a living before the action starts. And each of those components is going to shape what kind of character you are. And here is the character sheet.
Ooh.
It's a lot of stuff on it. Lots of blanks and such. All right. So the first stage of character creation is concept, which is consider the type of character you want to play and that character's overall role in the group dynamics and what the other players are going to create. So I'm going to create something that balances off yours, primarily, especially if you don't create someone that has or should have any rights to a ship or on a ship. I'm going to create someone that has a ship that you can be on, or as part of a ship.
I'm taking the ship.
You want to be a captain of the ship?
Let's do it.
So, like,
I'll be more comfortable playing the Belta if I can get off the belt a little bit.
Okay. So overall, what do you want your character to do? Is it going to be like? Is it a pilot? Is it a hacker? Is it a combatant? Is it so this is a smuggler or a thief or a con man?
So we talked about this a little bit. There's love for all the different types of characters. There's Earthers, there's Dusters, which is a kind of a derogatory term for Martians. Same with there's derogatory terms for Earthers, which are squats or shorties. And then you got the Beltas, and Beltas kind of was derogatory, but they've kind of taken it on, and I don't think they use a whole lot of derogatory for the Belters anymore. But we were joking around about we got to make a Belter the first time around, so. This guy's going to be a Belta. I want him though to maybe not a ship captain.
I have a ship captain that I can run for.
That's perfect. Well, then he's probably a guy that does a lot of he's an extra vehicular activity kind of EVA kind of guy. Because then he can do like attaching hooks to ice chunks or going out and drilling attachments for rock hoppers to pull stuff back and forth.
So really quick, since this is concept phase, and you also talk about group concepts, the concept that I had, and that works perfectly with, is you're part of a 2-man salvage crew.
Perfect.
Where you take on legal jobs to go out and salvage wrecks or derelicts or anything, abandoned places, all kinds of stuff.
Perfect.
A lot of it is, hey, we lost a ship out here, can you go get these things from it so we can get it back.
Perfect. That does work out really well.
You're perfect with an EVA background, and this character is a pilot, or not a pilot, and was gifted a ship or got possession of a ship. All right, so we got the concept out of the way, so now we're going into abilities. And abilities, unlike attributes of other games, where they have attributes which are your base physical characteristics, and then they have skills that represent your training. Abilities is everything. Some of them represent core person abilities, like your just strengths and weaknesses of your body, your mind, whatever, how smart, how strong you are. Others of them represent training or experience. I kind of like this system, but it also is fairly flat if you're looking for a lot of crunch and a lot of detail. There are 9 abilities, and they are everything to the game. You're never not rolling an ability, and every type of skill roll, every type of physical aspect, or just raw knowledge comes down to one of these abilities. And then they have focuses, which represent their individual like training or experience or just knack at something. The abilities are accuracy, which measures your aim and precision and measures your ability to hit targets with ranged or thrown weapons. Constitution, which is your overall health, resistance, fortitude. Fighting, your ability to fight. Communication, that covers all social aspects. Dexterity, which is your deftness, agility, and reaction time. Mm-hmm. Intelligence, which is reasoning, problem solving, all that jazz. Perception, which is noticing details and picking up clues. Strength, sheer muscle. And willpower, your measure of self-control, discipline, mental fortitude, etc.
It drives me nuts that it's in a different order there than it is here. You're like reading and it's like accuracy, constitution, fighting, and communication. I was like, wait a minute.
Is it a...
No, it's in a different order.
Oh, okay. So it is not, actually, because they didn't... It looks like it should be this. Accuracy, communication, constitution, dexterity, fighting, intelligence, and then perception, strength, willpower. So, now, since this game was made for beginning players, it has a completely random generation method. And when I say completely random, I mean going back to old school D&D, 3D sticks, straight down the line, and you're screwed. So if you were looking to make a smart character and you just happen to not roll good intelligence, then oh well. I think it actually allows for one ability to be switched with another. But luckily, and as they should, they give different ability rolling options or stat propagating options. One being, just like Dungeons & Dragons, you roll 9 times and assign the scores where you want. And the other being a point-buy system, which is actually fairly weak because it's the only system it's the only way that doesn't allow you to have the max starting stat. Generally, you can start with stats from -2 to 4. Mm-hmm. But doing the point-buy system, you will cut out the negatives and start at 0, but you cannot get a 4.
Gotcha.
Rolling will allow you to get the full gamut, and yes, there are negative attributes. So this game's attributes, even though you're rolling 3d6, you're actually consulting a chart, and that's going to give you a number between -2 and 4.
Oh my goodness.
So
let's do the roll.
Yep. So we're gonna do the rolls. Put the d6s over there so I can grab 3d6.
Let's grab a couple.
We'll take these out. All right. So you're gonna roll 9 times. Write them down on your yellow pad, and then you're gonna be able to put them wherever you want.
Oh boy. Roll 3d6.
3d6.
8.
0.
Great. 10.
1.
11.
1.
Doing them in order. This next one might be 12. 15.
3.
13.
2.
12.
2.
Oh, big money. Ugh. 9.
1.
2 more rolls.
Okay.
Yes. 17.
3. You need to get an 18 to get a 4.
Yahtzee. Damn it. 12.
2. It's actually some...
It's not too bad. Yeah, he's a pretty good guy.
All right. So now you get to assign those wherever you want.
So, what is the difference between...
So, you're going to be putting them here.
Okay.
In these boxes. The things underneath the actual thing, names, is where you're going to write your focuses.
Gotcha.
So that's essentially your skills and abilities.
So tell me then, real quick, just because this is different. What is the difference between accuracy and dexterity? So dexterity is my like dodging and moving around, whereas accuracy is my potency with weapons.
Correct.
It doesn't have anything to do with one another.
No.
Okay.
So accuracy, the skills that are in accuracy, the focuses that are in accuracy are bows, gunnery, pistols, rifles, and throwing. So it's all about hitting a target with something. Dexterity, on the other hand, has acrobatics, crafting, driving, free fall, which is also 0G maneuvering, initiative, piloting, sleight of hand, and stealth. So that's your ability to move physically, and accuracy is just your ability to hit something.
Tell me about intelligence and then willpower.
So intelligence is how smart you are, how good you are at recalling information, and your problem-solving skills. The focuses in that are art, business, cryptography, current affairs, demolitions, engineering, evaluation, law, medicine, navigation, research, science, scrutiny, or security, tactics, technology. So it has a ton of skills associated with it. A lot of them are, they're all smart stuff.
Willpower, sorry.
Willpower just has 3. Courage, faith, and self-discipline. But a lot of things target your willpower. So if someone's trying to intimidate you, if morale breaks, all that kind of stuff.
This is tough.
Yeah.
All right. Always take perception in a Wiley-verse game.
Always.
So those of you at home that, if you're watching, well, I know we have a lot of viewers right now, but if you watch this video, anytime you see this logo up here, Wiley-verse, anywhere, if you see it on a shirt, whatever it is, bring your fucking perception with you.
I really like making my players roll for perception to see just how much, even if I determine that they're going to see whatever it is, or it's just going to happen, I make them roll perception to see how much information they get or see. I love me some perception.
God, this is so tough. All right.
Okay. So what do you got?
So, wait, 1, 2. Oh, 2. I missed a 2. Let's not do that then. There we go. All right.
Sort down your stats real quick.
All right. I have a 1 in accuracy, a 1 in communication, 2 constitution, 3 dexterity because of free fall and moving around, 1 fighting, 3 intelligence because of navigation and stuff like that, 2 perception, 0 strength, and 2 willpower.
Okay. Excellent. You suck.
Yeah.
Your fighting is a 1?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I mean, I'm out in the belt though. Well,
yeah.
You know what? That's a good point actually. If I'm on the belt,
I don't know. I don't know if you want to do anything with that.
No, I'm gonna stick like this. I'm gonna go with my first instincts.
I'm actually the one I'm most surprised about is communication, because you normally like to play talkers.
I do, but this guy is gonna be out. No one can understand him anyway. Belt the
I mean, you have to talk to the other OPAers.
It's true. Who says I'm OPA? It can just be Belter, right?
You could just be Belter. All right. So that is step 2.
What was step 1?
Concept.
Is that my name, origin, background, social class? Profession?
No, that was you figuring out you wanted to play
okay.
EVA person.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Now, actually, still in step 2, we now need to determine your ability focuses. An ability focus, or focus for short, is an area of specialty or expertise within the broader ability. It's what you're trained in or what you're good at. Oh, no. So it's not... we don't start determining them yet. That happens in later steps.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So did I say sorry? You fucked up.
No, I fucked up.
You guys like this Nicolas Cage shirt showing up great. I know, I should have worn my Wiley-verse, my bad.
All right, step 3,
Tomorrow.
Origin. We already know. You can randomly roll in this game. They do have a random roll for everything. But you're Belter. So, Belter. So, the Belter is actually the only one that gets something for being what they are. Oh. Earthers and Martians do not start with any abilities or anything. And it's because you have the deficit of your native gravity is microgravity. So your native gravity is microgravity. Belters are most comfortable on the float and handle moving and free fall easily. You automatically have dexterity free fall focus. So under dexterity, right, free fall. Earth normal gravity is crushingly heavy for a belter, and this is how this works. As a general rule, if current gravity conditions are too heavier than your native gravity, you're hindered, which means you cannot run, and you are restrained at 3 or more categories heavier, which means you can't move at all. So since your is 0.1, you can go up to Earth, and you are hindered. You're not going anywhere fast. You're trudging.
In the books and the show, it is illegal for the UN to torture belters with gravity.
But they do it anyway.
But they do it secretly anyway.
You also speak Belter Creole, a combination of loanwords and phrases from various language, combined with gestures useful for communicating while wearing a vac suit and unable to speak.
Where do I
I'm not even sure if... we know that you speak that, but I'm not sure if there's a place for it.
So, a lot of times, this is something that he's touched on right there, when you're in a vac suit, they don't necessarily have access to communications equipment. Or it's pertinent that you don't speak so that other people can't hear what you're saying, so they use a form of sign language. And you'll see that like in shows like, you know, two eyes, look, that kind of stuff. But they have adopted a little bit of like real sign language, like, help and you see, that sort of stuff, which is kind of fun.
All right. And that's... Oh, there's some more. Belters tend to be tall and willowy as a result of being raised in low and microgravity environments. Regimens of bone density drugs and genetic treatments are needed to keep belters healthy, and some belters have minor physical abnormalities because of this. Belters often have a diverse ethnic heritage, giving the melting pot of the belt with ancestors from many different Earth cultures. So that's it.
The language is called Belter Creole because it's a mix of English, some Spanish, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's so confusing that they just call it Creole because it's got some French pronunciation shoved in there as well. Because these people have been off Earth for their entire lives, for 150 years. Not the 4 generations in, no one's ever seen the Earth, so they speak their own language.
And in their language, it's called Lang Belta.
So other people call it Belter Creole, but yeah, they call it Lang Belta.
All right. Now we get to step 4, background. So background starts with your social class. Now there is a random roll table here if you want to, or you can pick one that fits.
Let's hear the options.
So the social classes are outsider, which is lower than the lowest class. You are a wanted criminal, or you're a person that eschews the lifestyle and what's going on with real people. It's pretty much outsiders are artist communes or cults or criminals that don't fit into regular society. Then there's lower class, middle class, and upper class.
Let's roll it. Is it 3 dice again?
It is 2d6.
4.
Outsider.
Damn. All right.
You want to be lower class?
No, it's okay.
You can. You can pick it.
No. I mean, nobody wants to be outsider.
Right.
Even the outsiders are like, like this.
That leads into backgrounds, which are basically how you were raised.
Okay.
So I'll read outsider and lower class. Actually, I'll read them all so people can get a feel for it. But first, a description of outsider. This, I should say, is my first sticking point with this book and how it is written. This game has, the Martian colonies are generally carved in rock, and they use rock to insulate them from radiation and the outside and all that stuff. There's some domes and all the other stuff going on. And then there's the belt, which is space stations, ships.
They also carve into a lot of asteroids. You can find a large enough asteroid.
Right. But every description of the social class is Earth. It all tells you how that class would act on Earth. And I'm like, what's an upper class Belta? Well, I want to know how they live, where they live. Do they have a whole station to themselves? Do they live on a ship that they own that's always docked? I guess that's what's that stuff, but I believe they did it as a way to relate to you, the reader, as an Earthling, to show you what these classes mean, but I feel that they should have put a description for each background, for each origin in there.
Just so the authors know, you can add that for the update and give him credit for it.
Outsider. More of a non-social class, outsiders tend to be outcast criminals or nonconformists who can't or won't live according to society's customs. They often lack access to things other people take for granted and learn to get by on their own, sometimes forming their own support networks and structures outside of the mainstream society. Some outsiders reject the mainstream by choice, but in many cases, outsiders are pushed out of society's by society's biases, where lower classes, hard, usually physical labor and precarious employment tend to rule the lives of lower classes. Still, that work is often all that separates them from being outsiders, so they cling to it. Lower class characters often depend on family and friends to help them keep out of poverty. They might live in failing industrial areas, inner city slums, or hardscrabble farms. In all cases, they make do with what's available and find ways to stretch resources. Okay. So, now that you got your social class, you're going to pick your background, and this kind of goes back and forth depending on which you pick. But background, the way it's described is your upbringing. Mm-hmm. As child to adult, before you went off and did your own thing, how did you live? And this is going to start giving you the first benefits of the character creation, starts giving you talents and all that kind of stuff. Now, interesting thing about this, there's 3 backgrounds for each social class. So a total of 12 backgrounds. Anyone from a higher level can pick a lower level background, or even, actually no.
But I can't pick forward.
I'm thinking of careers. So never mind that. Nope, you have to stick within this for backgrounds. So there's a D6 roll if you want to roll, but the 3 backgrounds for outsider are bohemian, exile, and outcast, where lower class is military, laborer, and urban.
5.
Outcast.
Dang it. I'm just kidding. That's fine. That's my background.
That is your background. So, outcast benefits. Outcast.
What are the benefits and stuff on here?
You'll see in a second. They go in like talents and specializations and equipment and goals, but they're mainly going to be in that section of abilities.
Okay.
So, outcast. Fate singled you out for the life of the outcast on the fringes of society. You might have a criminal background that makes it impossible for you to find decent work and true respect, or you might belong to a minority group your society rejects. On Earth, you might have been an unlicensed or unregistered birth, a literal non-person. Whatever the case, you had to learn how to survive outside of the safety and structures of most people rely on. It gives you +1 to your willpower.
Ooh. Do I just write that as a permanent effect?
Yep.
Nice.
Now you get to pick to either have the focus under communication of deception or dexterity stealth. So stealth or deception.
I like both of those. I'm pretty dexterous. I think it'd probably be more useful if I took stealth.
Okay.
Damn it, I literally rolled a rogue.
Yes, you did.
Just at random, like rogues just in my blood. Did you read in that article about the percentage of people that pick the races and the classes? That link that you sent?
Oh.
At the end of it, there's a little thing that's like who picks what, the most and stuff like that. Human fighter, #1 picked by everybody that's playing Dungeons and Dragons. Something like 28% of everyone that took the survey said they pick human fighter as their main class and race. Stick with what you know, I guess.
Yep, and it's the easiest to do at first.
Elf rogue #2.
Makes sense. All right, now you're going to pick between 2 talents. Talents are tricks that give you, or abilities that give you additional rule-breaking abilities.
Okay.
So that should be talents and specializations, which is right here.
Gotcha.
You can pick either Fringer or Misdirection. So every talent has 3 levels: Novice, Expert, Master. The first time you get it at the first level, Novice. If you happen to get that again during character creation, it goes up 1 level. So, Fringer. You know how to navigate and survive on the fringes of civilization. Novice will give you cover your own tracks well. Other characters suffer a -2 penalty to any test to find information about you or your activities. This stacks with cover your tracks stunt, which is something later. So there's that, which is a nice little ability to, if you're doing illegal crap.
Fringer and the other one was called what?
Misdirection. So Misdirection is a communications style ability. You can sow confusion among friends and foes alike. As a major action, you can make a communications deception test opposed by an opponent's willpower self-discipline. If you succeed, your opponents cannot perform stunts until the end of their next turn. It basically stops them from adding effects to their rolls.
This guy seems like he's a Fringer.
Yep. I felt that because you went with stealth. And this is a communications deception thing,
Yep.
which you didn't specifically take.
It's ridiculous. Normally I would do that, right?
No, you like stealth as
I
well.
would say lately it's been more roguish than anything else.
So talent specialization, you write Fincher, and you can, just like if you want to paraphrase, -2...
That's over here on the back.
Oh, they have that?
Talent name, degree, and then talent effect. So Fringer is the talent name?
Yep, Fringer. Degree is Novice. And the effect is -2 penalty to any tests to find out information about you or your activities.
All right. And I pick 2 of these things? Or just 1 talent?
Just 1. So on Fringer, you get +1 willpower. You get the choice of communication deception or dexterity stealth, and you get the choice of Fringer or Misdirection.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's your 3. Now you get a random benefit associated with it. So you get to roll 2d6, and there's a little chart under each of these backgrounds that'll give you your last benefit for that thing.
10.
Focus, willpower, courage. I feel like that was the least beneficial of all these things. +1 perception, +1 communication, +1 constitution.
Oh, wow.
Fighting light weapons, perception seeing, intelligence technology, dexterity sleight of hand.
All I got was willpower, courage.
And all you got was willpower,
That
courage.
doesn't add anything. It doesn't.
Nope, that's it.
What is it? What does courage do?
Courage just allows you to not run when something scary happens.
Perfect.
So
All right. Well, I don't back down,
you don't back down.
even if it's going to kill me.
All right. So that is the end of step 4. Now you go into step 5, profession. This is what you're doing now or right before the action starts. So this is the one that you can choose down if you wanted.
Gotcha.
That's like an upper class can be an artist, which is normally an outsider job. And the crappy thing about it is the income value of these is based on what level it is, but if you choose to go down, you actually add back in the difference of how many steps you went.
Oh, jeez.
So if an upper class person becomes an artist, their income is much higher because, you know, they're getting their stuff in galleries and all that kind of stuff because they have the social network, where if you're an outsider artist, you're that guy at the swap meet doing the planetary things with the spray paint.
Well, inversely, too, I can't be an outsider politician.
Nope.
Gotcha. All right.
So you can go down, you can't go up. It's a d6 random roll, or you pick, and this one you might want to pick.
Oh, okay.
Because this is literally what you do for a living.
So there's brawler, survivalist, criminal, scavenger, fixer, and artist. What's a fixer?
So a fixer gets things done. If this guy needs water and he has sheep, you get you know the people to get that change and all that kind of stuff done.
Scavenger is somebody scrounges, picks out that
Correct.
Kind of stuff.
Which, what?
Scavengers.
Yep. Yeah.
Explain it anyway.
That makes sense because that's kind of what you're doing with this whole salvage business. Most people would be amazed that things get thrown away and forgotten, but not you. You are all too familiar with that bounty, how to find it, salvage it, and make the best use of it. So let me make sure what you get from this. You're going to get a choice of 1 or 2 more ability focuses and a choice of 1 or 2 more talents. Scavenger. You get to pick either intelligence technology or perception searching.
Technology.
Okay. And you get either the talent evaluation or maker, which I will read now.
Need to work on my handwriting.
Every time I write something physically, I am reminded of the last like how long it's been since I've written something physically.
Well, I'm gonna have to be teaching it soon, so I need to figure it out. Start working on it.
Okay, so here's maker. Make it yourself is your motto, and you use manufacturing focuses to do just that. Use dexterity craft for most handcrafted and artistic items, and intelligence engineering for most technological items. The GM may approve other manufacturing focuses as appropriate for certain items. At novice level, you can use a manufacturing focus to make any item with the appropriate tools and access to a workshop. So to even create things, if you have to have this talent.
Yeah, doing workshop stuff too, though.
And now
The other one was
evaluation, which seems to not exist.
Uh-oh. That can't be right.
Right?
Is it alphabetical?
It is alphabetical, so it is... The only E is expertise. So this... I have a more recent version of the rules on PDF form.
That's what happens when you play something first.
Well, it's a Kickstarter, so they sent it out.
That's what I'm saying, we're playing it first.
Yeah. What page is this? 52?
Oh, I'm the only viewer.
Aw. Yep, not even in the this other one.
Was there like a send them?
Let me look to see if there is if there's like a renamed version of it.
For those of you keeping track at home, I am a Delta outcast whose social class is outsider, and I am a scavenger by profession. I'm quick and quiet, especially in microgravity or zero G. I have a focus in technology, which means I'd like to tinker and look around, or at least I know what's actually, if we take evaluation, it's probably that I know what's worth money.
Yes, that's what it says.
And then I am courageous, despite being quite weak.
Yeah, that's really not in here, like at all.
Well, let's just take Maker then, since it's...
So it's the only one. I mean, I could look at other ones to give you, but...
Well, we could make something up for evaluation, like I can identify if it's worth money or not. Would that be an intelligence check to see if that thing's worth money or not?
Possibly. I would say instead of evaluation, we'll give you maker or observation.
It's observation.
You have an eye for detail. You notice things others do not. You get to choose a perception focus, and if you fail a perception test with your chosen focus, you can re-roll it, but must keep the second result.
And that's called what?
Observation.
Let's do observation. What is the perception?
Alright, so the focuses for observation... are... right here. So for perception, there's empathy, hearing, intuition, searching, seeing, smelling, survival, tasting, touching, and tracking.
Tracking.
So there's survival, which is a good one, tracking, which is a good one,
and
seeing
searching.
is a good one, and searching, which is, great for scavengers.
Let's do searching.
Okay.
That's a focus, right?
That is a focus.
So, with the talent observation.
So talent
It's
observation.
novice, right?
Novice.
And
So in there you can specifically state it is reroll failed searching checks.
all right.
Step 6
Up 10?
of 10.
All right.
Drive. Drive is bait. It's what I can use to bait you into plots. It's your motivation for doing things outside of your comfort zone, or why do you go keep on living and living the lifestyle you do?
It's the opposite of a knife.
Pretty much, yes.
Or
So
you can use it as a knife.
there are 12 of these. If you want to roll, you can, but some of these may not be your style.
Well, let's roll them, and if they don't fit, then we'll move on.
I'll quickly read through them.
Sure.
I'm not going to read the descriptions, but we'll read through the types, and these are drives that can drive a character: achiever, builder, caregiver, an ecstatic, a judge, a leader, a networker, penitent, protector, rebel, survivor, or visionary.
Roll 1d6.
To determine which column, and then another d6 to determine which ability. So,
Let's just try.
So-
Let's just see what it says.
yeah, let's see what it says.
So one first, right?
Yep.
It is 6,
So you're rolling in column 2.
2.
Penitent.
I'm sorry about it.
So specifically, the penitent is you screwed up. Maybe you didn't mean to, or maybe you did and should have known better. Whatever the case, you're trying to make it right now by doing better. You may or may not want anyone else to know about your past mistakes, but what happens next is really what matters. It gives you these qualities and downfalls and things like that. Humility, you have fallen low and learned to accept it. You're not quick to judge or accept accolades. And guilt is as you're sometimes haunted by your past mistakes and feel any new missteps heavily.
Let's take that. That would be a good reason for me to be on the ship working to get my you.
Right,
gave me
and
a
you were an
job
outsider.
yeah.
You did something as a kid. Maybe you screwed up and someone died, which is why you got put in either prison or work release, or not work release, indentured servitude. Now you're out and you're trying to reclaim your life while you make up for that past mistake, whatever it was.
I don't know.
All right. So you got your drive, which is up there. I am not sure on here if there
Do I need to write any of
is.
this stuff down? This is
That's
more
what
for
I'm.
Sheehan.
No, that's what I'm looking
I
at
didn't
right now.
see it anywhere on here.
I don't see quality or downfall on here. If you want to write them next to your drive, just so you have the words, you can. The top one is humility. The downfall is guilt. So anytime you mess up, you feel really bad about it. But also,
Other people mess up, I don't care.
when other people, if someone scoffs, oh, look at that guy picking through trash, you're like, you don't know what he's been through.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Good point. All right.
Now you're going to get 2 more things from this. One is a choice, a completely open-ended choice, but the other one is a new talent that is Fringer or Know-It-All. So you already have Fringer, so you could take the next level of Fringer.
Which is
So the expert level of Fringer is you know how to navigate the local black market. Once per session, you can gain a +2 bonus on an income test by using black market channels, but your income is depleted by 1 regardless of the test result and the cost of the item. So you can get stuff on the black market. Know-It-All. You can bring your considerable knowledge to bear in any situation. Novice. Wow, this is a novel. You can attempt a test using intelligence focus somehow related to the test at hand rather than the called for ability, but with a -1 penalty. For example, using intelligence business instead of communication persuasion to convince a corporate middle manager to agree with you. If this would be a tangential investigation focus, which is a type of encounter, you do not suffer the target number increase. So this will allow you to substitute abilities as long as there's a relevance.
Sure. So here's a question then. With the degree, if it's, say I'm novice now and I get -2 penalty to other people to info checks about me or my activities, if I switch it to the next level, which is expert, do I lose that -2 penalty info checks only gain, so I get another thing on top of that?
Yeah, and this is for Fringer you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So you're at novice with everyone gets -2 to try to find you, and you also will have access to the black market.
Well, since we're just doing like a single one-off, let's just make the Fringer into expert.
Okay, so you can actually don't erase that.
Oh.
Write it again. So now you have Fringer expert as a new line.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Once per session, +2 income, black market.
Is the black market a normal part of this game? Is there like a whole thing for it and stuff, or no? Just if I want to say like, hey.
Also put in -1 income always, or -1 income penalty for using that ability. Yep. Okay, now you're going to get this open-ended decision about what your drive gives you and what you took from it, and that is one of the following improvements. You can increase your fortune by +5, and I think your fortune is over here. Mm-hmm. Everyone starts with 15. You can increase it by 20. I'll explain what that does in a second.
That's not money.
That is not money. That is, remember how I said your importance in the...
Oh, yeah.
That is your importance.
Ew.
So you start with 15, and that's what you use to... It's kind of like fate points. You can use it to change rolls, but you can also use it to soak damage, and that's what keeps you alive as compared to a thug. So, one second. This music got totally epic all of a sudden.
Character creation.
Alright. So you can take a +5 to that if you want. You can gain a membership rank 1 in something. So, like, you could become rank 1 OPA, or rank 1 in a mining confederacy or a conglomerate or a company or something like that. You can increase your income, your starting income, which is going to be very low for you. Mm-hmm. Or you can start with a relationship. Relationship means you have a person in your life that you're bonded to, and they will do things for you based on the nature of that relationship. I think they're actually on the back. Oh, they're right there? Okay. So that will give you a person that you can call in and call for help.
Gotcha.
Or you can gain a reputation. Now, reputation is used... reputation can modify all social roles depending on if the reputation applies. And a reputation goes with an honorific. So the Butcher of Anderson Station is an honorific, and no matter where he goes, if that applies, he's either going to get a negative or a positive, depending on that.
Let's do that one.
So if you could take a reputation and you can give yourself an honorific, and whatever that is, it's going to affect, like, you're a stand-up guy, he's super reliable, whatever it is, or, hey, he killed an old lady once, like, kind of thing, like, whatever that is. All right, so reputation should be somewhere. Is it on the back? No. That's interesting. essentially because it's a major component of this
maybe
game.
Maybe it's specializations and talents. I mean, that's where we could put it.
You could put it there, yeah.
So, what is this? You said it was a reputation?
It's a reputation. It's at level 1, essentially. And you need to give yourself what that reputation is, what that honorific, what that title is.
Oof, let me think about that while we move on.
Okay. So that's one of the following improvements. Then you get the quality and the downfall and that talent choice. And that's it for step 6.
Oh, God.
Step 7. Income and equipment. You're an outsider, so your initial income is 0.
Sweet.
You could have taken a +2 from that.
Wow, it's all good.
If you wanted to, but that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how buying things works in this game. So there's just too much. Like there's bartering, there's trade, there's favors owed, there's also credits, and that's in a system. There's hard cash, money, and influence is this big complex system, and it's not as simple as saying I have $100 in the bank and I buy something, because that's not how a lot of deals go down. And if you want to buy a house, it doesn't matter about how much money you have in the bank, it's your credit score and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So income is actually a stat, just like any of the other attributes or abilities, and you roll it to acquire things. So in this game, things don't have a dollar value or a currency value, they have a target number for you to try to acquire them. The income test is just like any other test, and you add your income score, so it's just like as if you had your strength or whatever. So if your income score +4 is equal to or greater than the item's cost, you don't even have to make a roll. So essentially up to a 4 item target number, you can just acquire those items. Those are things that are just tools or food or whatever. If you go for anything higher than that, from a 5 to a 9, you have to make a roll. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, nothing bad happens. You just can't find it or you can't afford it. But if something is 10 or higher than yours, after you make the roll, your income will decrease because you've overextended yourself.
Yeah.
So,
good thing I got a 0. Can't overextend myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, we can go negative.
Oh, so you're right. I can roll that 9 and get messed up.
And so if you go after something of a 10 or higher, and you acquire it, you actually make the roll and get it, your income would go to -1. And then you could only afford things up to 3s.
Notes to self.
Yeah. Okay. So your current financial condition is impoverished or in debt at a 0. -2 to 0 is impoverished or in debt. So enjoy that. You can gain income, like if you go on a mission or a job, you can get an income boost. Most of those, because it's your lifestyle, are temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll get that income boost, but the next time you succeed at a acquisition check, that bonus goes away.
Gotcha.
You've essentially used the resources you just got.
Can you make permanent changes to your income?
It is. They don't have it in here. Oh no, there is a way. So during interludes and downtime, you can work, which can recover one of your missing things. So if you go to -1, you can get it back. But if you really wanted to push it and try to get more, then it's more like kind of role playing and some rolls, and you trying to uplift your lifestyle.
Gotcha. And it seems like there's rules for pooling income as well, so you could have a team would buy something.
Now this is pretty like pulling income is a major decision. So if a party is all together and they're like, hey, we just it's our ship, we're all the crew, let's all like make a company and we're together. You take the person's highest income and lower it, the highest person's income and lower it, and that becomes everyone's score. And everyone's ups and lowers depending on what people do with the money.
Gotcha.
But it allows you to, cost splitting and all that stuff.
Interesting.
It's easier just for bookkeeping if you want to do it as a group. All right. Equipment. You start with ordinary clothing, essential tools and items for your profession, and any weapon the character has associated focus or talent for using, which for you is nothing. Like, you have no talents or anything like that.
You have no weapon talents.
So, you have clothing. You have a evac suit with cutters and a tool belt with anything that allow you to get in or out of scavenging, ships.
So evac suit and then a cutter.
And cutter and
torch. Cutter.
Yeah. So, if you want the exact name,
no, that's okay.
Drugs and maintenance. You have a vac suit, not an environmental suit. Those things are pieces of shit. You have a toolkit, which includes a plasma cutter, or whatever you'd call it. All right. That's step 7, 8. So now we go to secondary abilities and fortune. So there's these stats right up here. We're going to figure those out now.
So my speed, defense, toughness, armor, and penalty.
Correct. So your speed is 10 plus your dexterity score.
Yay.
So 12.
13.
Your defense is 10 plus your dexterity score.
Yeah.
That is the target number people need to roll to hit you in combat. Your toughness is your constitution score.
That's it?
Yep. 2?
2.
Okay. That's how much you subtract from damage.
Gotcha.
You can get armor, but it's frowned upon. Like, armor is pretty much illegal anywhere you go, because that means you're looking for trouble. Why do you have armor on? Type of thing.
It's kind of the same way here, like in real life. If you walk around in armor, people will be like,
if you, in Arizona, if you have body armor on, like a Kevlar vest or something like that, anything you do,
poison.
Any crime you commit, or even misdemeanor, automatically becomes a felony.
Oof.
So if you get pulled over for a speeding ticket and you have a bulletproof vest on, you get a felony.
Interesting.
Because why? What are you doing? Where are you going that you need that? Hey, Poison of Knowledge, how's it going? We are running the Expanse on the Wiley vs. Mitch. We're going through character creation right now. We have already discussed the setting and the rules system. We're just finishing up character creation, and then I'm going to throw some scenarios at them. So step 8, we got those. Your fortune is 15. So.
Oh, that's much easier.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15. So you have.
That's 20.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
So you have 15 fortune points. Yeah, this is our Wiley vs. Mitch show, where we pick a game, we make a character, we explain the system, explain the setting, and kind of go through a couple encounters, and then I get to kill him.
So it basically shows people the basic concepts of the game, character creation, mechanics. Then we buff the character so that you can see what it looks like if you've played for a couple of weeks or a couple campaigns. And then he builds an even larger character, or an even more advanced character, and then just murders me. So last time the murder took 1 turn.
1 turn.
We were in a car crash, and then a werewolf killed me in a different game. So yeah, this is only our 2nd edition. It's fun.
Yeah. We did Vampire the Masquerade was the last episode. It's Expanse this episode. I don't know what it's going to be next episode. Maybe D&D, just as get it out there. Last one is Goals and Ties. You don't necessarily need these, but they're nice to have. Goals are short and long term. Mm-hmm. So the short term could be, hey, let's get a haul. We need a job. We've been sitting in dock too long.
Long term
is like I want my own ship, or I want to not be.
I want to speak for the OPA.
Something like that. Or I want to get rid of my bad reputation. Sure. I want to, get a real job, or, I want to be in a desk somewhere in a space station. I doubt that is you, but that kind of stuff. So goals, there's a little spot down here for them. You can jot down a couple if you want. in this short-term, kind of short-form game, not really necessary.
Yeah, so we'll skip it for them.
And ties is, how do you know the other players? Are you related? Or you know them? You work for them? So you know her. You work for her. She gave you a chance. She is an Earther that also went to jail. Like she did something bad. So once she got out, she had the choice of going on basic with a criminal record or jumping on a ship and going to work out on the belt. So she jumped on a ship, worked on the belt, liked it.
And I tolerated her.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. She gave me a job.
Well, she really, she feels more at home here, she says, than she ever did on Earth. She's really into the OPA and that lifestyle and speaking up for the marginalized people and how Earth treats its people and all that kind of stuff is like bullshit.
She's a squatty that follows the OPA.
Yep. And she fell in with an OPA member who ran a scavenging ship, and he passed away, and his ship came into her possession.
Gotcha. Now you know.
And now you know. That's that. And the last step, name and description.
Fabian.
All right, Fabian.
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 It's French. Well, we were talking about in this game. So this is Expanse takes place in 2350. We've colonized Mars, and the outer belt has stations and beyond. I don't know if you've seen the show or not. There's the UN that runs the Earth. There's the Martian Congressional Republic, which is an independent planet now at this point. And then the people that work on the belt or in the outer planets are loosely governed by a rebel faction called the Outer Planet Alliance. And they're not really governed by them. They just fight for... Excuse me. They fight and picket and riot and stuff like that for better conditions for people living in the belt. What we were talking about, though, is that armor is frowned upon because... that's what we were making an example with Arizona law, is that if I'm just walking around in armor, what are you up to? What's going on?
It kind of coincides with it's looked at as hand in hand with the murder felony clause, which we also have here. Actually, there's 3 awesome rules which all tie into if you're doing something outside of the law, you are creating a situation that screws up everybody, and it's all your fault. And the 3 laws of the body armor law, the murder felony clause, and the impossibility clause. That is, a physical impossibility is not a defense in court in Arizona. If you have a fake rubber gun and you point it at someone's head, you can't say, I couldn't shoot them, so it wasn't armed robbery. They say, that person did not know that. So all the mental anguish that you put on them was armed robbery. That's what you leveraged against them. The murder felony clause is, if you're in the commission of a felony and anything happens, any other crime, you go down for first-degree murder. The example of this is, you're robbing a convenience store, you got a gun to the clerk draws a gun, shoots at you, misses, it goes out the window and hits a woman in the parking lot and kills her. It's the attacker's fault that he is the one going to be charged, and he's going to be charged with first-degree murder because he created a situation in which someone got hurt or killed.
On a lighter note, if you think Doom should have been a board game, there's Doom Troopers.
Which is great, and I think there is a Doom board game.
Doom Troopers is a wonderful game. I gotta get that out again.
The new one is coming.
Is it really?
I keep getting, because I kickstarted it back when we were playing Rifts and all that. I'm like,
oh, that's right. We did talk about
Mitch,
that.
There's a fucking game coming out. And they keep sending us updates. They keep sending us scopes. It's probably still 4 to 6 months out, but it's huge. It's a massive reimagining of the game.
Interesting. Right on.
Okay, so...
I got my equipment, got my speed, my defense, toughness, no armor, 0, right?
Actually, we're going to give you one. We're going to give you padding. You wear leathers and other heavier clothing, which is considered padding. You probably wouldn't wear it out to the bars or anything like that, but when you're working, you're working. You're dealing with big stuff moving around in cargo bays.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a cut torsion.
Yeah.
Penalty?
No penalties. It's padding. So
no, that penalty is actually a stat.
Correct. No, the penalty, and that goes off armor. That is tied to armor.
Gotcha.
So
there's no penalty, 0. Gotcha. Right on.
Tear my... Okay, so I need that reputation. So I need to know what it is.
Let's go with Fixer. I'm kind of known for someone that can kind of fix anything. I got the technology. I can find little pieces for it. I can probably get in and turn it on and off for you. Like if your air conditioner's not working and the complex isn't fixing it for you, I can crawl into the ducts for you and fix that shit up.
So let's call you Handyman. It's...
I'm gonna be Fabian the Fixer.
Fabian. Well...
No, that is from Handyman.
That's fine. I'm just... The only reason I want to get away from Fixer, but you can, is Fixer is a specific kind of job.
Handyman works fine.
Okay, so you have technology, right? Intelligence technology?
Yes, I do.
I want to read that to you and what it does, as opposed to dexterity crafts, which you don't have, right? You don't have dexterity crafting?
I don't.
Okay, so...
I took observation and said, should I do crafting instead? But
No.
Okay.
I don't know if you got the option for crafting in any of your backgrounds.
Oh, no, Maker was one of the ones I didn't do. Yeah.
So... Oh, I found evaluation.
Oh, where is it?
It's not a talent. It's a focus.
Oh.
So it was another focus ability, not a talent. Evaluation is knowledge of the value of goods, works, or art.
Gotcha.
I think we gave you observant. I'm okay with sticking with that.
Yeah, why not? I get to reroll search checks, which works.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. So technology. Technology, knowledge of the design and operation of technology, particularly computers, which are incorporated into nearly all technological items in the Expanse. So that will allow you to, like, oh, your air conditioner broke, crawl up there, you deal with the computer system or whatever. Crafting, and you have a good dexterity, so it doesn't matter that you don't actually have crafting. I will let you make rolls for it because it's still based off it. But crafting is making things with manual skills, including the various fine and plastic arts. Examples of specific crafting include carpentry, carving, drawing, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm sure too. If I was real good at pulling things apart and doing the tech and rewiring things like that, I could probably also make you something that.
Here it is. It's intelligence engineering, making, repairing, and maintenance of technological items, as well as knowledge of the principles and practicalities of their design and development. So that's engineering is kind of the repair skill.
Gotcha.
But you have technology. That's a tangential. Sometimes we might go to that if you want. But I think that puts us in ready to play mode.
So physical appearance, I would be on the shorter tall end, like 6'8". So I'm obviously Belter. I really like the idea of having because I'm shipwrighting now, and that's kind of probably where I made my money before anyway, salvaging. I've got the tattoo for the juice implant and the comms thing. You've seen those before? That's what what's her name in the show?
Yeah.
What's her fucking name?
Naomi.
She has that thing around her neck, and the same thing with the LPA head guy, not Fred Johnson, but Boris or whatever his name is. Those tattoos they have are their headsets for where the juice goes in.
So it's their their guide markers.
It's also where, like, if you go out, all you do is vac suit, the tattoo shows like where your comm would go, where your vac suit would hook, that sort of stuff. So I've got very obvious belted tattoos on my face and neck. I don't have any visible OPA tattoos, as I'm not a member of the OPA directly.
Are you partial to the OPA?
I think I would be, yeah. Okay. Especially since I'm kind of outcast and they're fighting for a better spot for everybody. And now my new boss is kind of preaching OPA, even though she's an Earther, which is kind of exceptional. I'd say
she was cast away by Earth.
Ooh. I probably have the style hairdo that Miller would have to have shaved. But actually, probably do more like a mohawk, short mohawk, because the helmet would fit in a little bit better when I get my vac suit and stuff like that. And that's still a pretty fierce kind of mount, even though I'm not.
All right. She has red hair. She has the undercut, so shaved on one side, long on the other. She's Earther. Heavily freckled.
How tall is she? Because she's supposed to be squatty.
Yeah, she's 5'5".
So I would have to lean down to lean on her.
All right. So this game, the version I got, came with, besides the GM screen, which has some good information on it, it has all these other screens, these other cards.
Visual screens, or are they?
They are just all the pertinent rules of this game, combat, stunts. So this game, I say it's not crunchy, but it has, and I'm probably not going to like it, but it has a lot of options.
GMs hate options.
No, I'm
just kidding.
The way they implemented the options is not something I necessarily agree with. So we'll get to this in a second. But we're starting. What station you on?
Oof. Let's do. I don't know, let's just go show and make it easy. Just make it serious. That's where
Serious.
Miller was in that serious station.
So you're down in the docks in the Belta section, not up in the high nice places where the security, the police station is and all that stuff. All the fancy people. You're down below.
Have to live closer to Spinward though. So farther out. So in the books, no, is it closer? So it's farther out.
Yeah.
So because
further out is more gravity.
All stations are generating
Centrifugal gravity.
So in the closer you get to the middle, the faster you're spinning, the heavier it gets. The farther out you get, right, would be taking longer. No,
I don't know. I don't remember.
I have to look it up. I think you're right though. I think it is closer is where the losers live and stuff because the outer edges are. That's where the docks are and stuff. I'm gonna have to research this. Anyway, that has something to do too. So there's gravity difference between inner and outer parts of ships when they get big enough. So as you get closer to the center, if it's a low gravity planet that has artificial gravity, it's either the center or the outer that has more gravity because you're being held out to it. So the center is spinning, you're being pushed this way. I have to look that up.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we'll come back.
Anyway, so
lower docks.
Yeah, because they showed the nice high-end places with the fountains and things like that, the nice walkways. But in the show, I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But then you went down and where the Belter bars are, and the commons and things like that, and the air filters are trash and all that stuff. That's where you guys are. You're not up at the fancy place.
In the Underhive.
So, the Underhive, a 40K reference. So, you're sitting around doing what? Are you at a bar? You're in your room? Are you sleeping? Are you on the docks?
Oh, now that we're on the ship or whatever, I'd probably be tinkering with stuff, making sure that our systems are working properly, that everything is like running smoothly, that I can get in and out of it easily, that sort of stuff. So I'm working on the computer system, making sure that it's kind of up to my standards.
So you're on the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe on the outside working on the technology.
Okay. Are you EVA'd right now? Are you going to be outside?
I mean, is there oxygen on the dock? Are we inside? Are we outside? Is the ship parked outside?
Well, the ship's it's latched on and.
But I mean, are we exterior of the station?
You're exterior.
Yeah, I would
be
EVA then. Yeah.
Okay. So you're out there.
I'm in backseat. What's rip and tear?
Rip and tear, my friends. Rip and tear.
Oh, anyway.
So, you're sitting out there, focusing, getting your stuff done, when your radio cracks to life. It's like, oh yay, dead! Look up! And you see one of the ports up there, like observation ports. She's looking down at you, and she's holding up it's a kind of a throwaway terminal, one throwaway hand terminal. She's like, I got us a job. Come inside. And she runs down to get in the ship.
All right. I will make my way in. We're right at about half. Do you mind if we take a quick break?
Yeah, let's do a quick break right before we start the action of the first scene, or the motivation.
I think I'm the only viewer.
Do 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 do.
was a little bit so anywhere on the station, especially if it's like a ring, you could have upstairs and downstairs, that sort of stuff. The gravity would be felt the same, which is probably what would happen on the Sirius station. Everybody's experiencing microgravity. But if it was a complete space station, if the thing was completely artificial from interior to exterior, and you're actually spinning it up to create gravity, the closer you got to the center, the higher the gravity would be. So it'd be kind of one of those things. If you're spinning a rock on a rope, the harder you pull it forward, it starts getting tougher and tougher. So there would be places on the Sirius station where belters couldn't go as they got deeper towards the center.
It seemed that it had gravity.
So Sirius station specifically, though, is like built on the side of a rock. They're spinning the rock so that everyone on the outside edge is getting some things. So this one doesn't pertain to what I was talking about. But if you had something like Anderson Station is a complete station, and it's spinning artificial gravity, it'll have a ring around it. That they do that on purpose, because if the artificial gravity is going to be the same here. If you spun the whole station, as you went up in decks towards the center, it would start getting heavier and heavier, and you'd feel it. It'd be impossible to get to the middle of it.
And then, like, the transfer from that outer ring that's spinning to the internal ring, which has no gravity, zero gravity.
And actually, you can get far enough away from the center of spinning that you lose your effect at that point. Yeah. It's too slow. All right, I was right about that somehow. All right, anyway, the Sirius station, it wouldn't.
Do the ships in the Expanse series have prefaces? I know, like, the Martian ships would in the fleet, but do the normal, like,
No, independent ships, they have an individual transponder, and that might have a prefix that tells other people what it is you're doing, but the ship names would just be the Canterbury, the Rocinante, that kind of thing. You could be the, pretty much.
Your ship is called Laverna's Folly.
Laverna, that sounds familiar.
So, you're heading inside the ship, and she's heading inside the ship. You're coming from outside, she's coming from inside. So you kind of both meet up in the exterior, the kind of evac space, because you're coming from the outside dock, and she's coming from the latch dock, which both goes into the rooms that have the evac suits and all that, or the vac suits. You go through your airlock and your, pressurization and all that jazz, and she's waiting for you because she has pressurization from that. And she's waving this thing in front of her. It's like, I got an anonymous email, or got an anonymous message from someone. Got a little lead for us.
Who's this someone?
What's your intelligence?
3.
If I knew that, it wouldn't be anonymous, would it?
Sorry, I just... So, for those of you that have never GM'd before, that was I didn't think about that part. I didn't write a name down for this NPC.
No, she said, I got an anonymous message.
Oh, I didn't hear her say anonymous. Sorry.
And then you asked who.
So, yeah.
I'm like, did you not hear what I just said?
All right, sorry. So my 3 intelligence would probably prevent me from saying who's anonymous.
She throws it down in front of you to take a look at. Right. And it's basically about a missing belter mining vessel. It was an independent mining vessel that had contracts, and it's missed its return date by about 3 days.
We call belter ships rock hoppers.
Rock hoppers. So there's a missing rock hopper called the Spider Monkey.
Nice.
And it's been missing. It missed its return date by 3 days. And it's got the last. It has the belt or the asteroids that it was licensed to go get. So it'll be an illegal salvaging operation, as it has been reported missing, and proper authorities haven't been involved.
It hasn't been reported missing, or
correct?
So it hasn't been reported missing yet.
Well, yeah, it's just been reported overdue. But if it's stranded, if something bad happened, there's a derelict ship out there that hasn't been touched yet. The normal procedure is a authority vessel would go out there, a security vessel or something like that, and be like, hey, where's this person? It's a missing person. So like the police or whatever kind of thing, like those Martian patrols or those Earther patrols would go out, investigate the scene, see the derelict, and then they would put it in for salvage. And then the company it worked for, or whoever did it, or if it's independent, that contract would go out and people would bid on it.
So
yada, yada,
we're racing
yada.
the cops to get it first.
So if you can get it before anyone else gets it, you can take it whatever you want from it, and
Sounds like Fabian's kind of job.
yeah. So she's like, "What do you think?"
I think we're already behind schedule.
Right. So we're going to need some things before we head out there.
Okay.
One, we're going to need you to make a fake transponder for us. And two, we're going to need a mining contract that tells us we're allowed to be in there in case there's any patrols.
Fake what? Mining.
Fake mining contract. I mean, it doesn't have to be fake. I just don't want to spend the money to get a real one.
Right. Well, we have zero.
Yeah, we have zero. To just let you know, you could, if you wanted to, make an income test, but to get the mining contract, it would be a difficulty 8.
And then I would get a negative even if I got it.
You would not.
Oh, this is not a 9 or a 10.
Because it's not a 10 or higher. So you can try to acquire that, but it would be, I don't know, it's kind of a waste of resources as you're not a mining ship, but then you could try to later sell that contract to someone else. If you wanted to just go get it normally, the caveat to that is it'll take days to get that to run through the process.
Can I make a fake transponder or adjust our transponder?
So you're going to adjust the transponder to be a fake ship.
Yeah.
Now you need a real mining contract to go with that fake ship.
Gotcha.
So, or not a real, it could be fake as well.
No, I get you.
But you need that as well.
So do I need to technology do the transponder?
Correct.
The fake transponder. All right, so I'll make my way down to the transponder first and see if I can't get that adjusted.
And now we get to our first roll of the game.
We're already in dock, so that we've already been registered. We're already here. When we take off, we won't be noted as leaving, or I'll have to. Oh, we will be noted as leaving.
Then
I'll have to set it to switch. Yeah.
After you get out.
Ugh, this sounds like my kind of thing.
So this game, all tests are done on 3d6, and one of those d6 must be differentiated from the other two. Thus, I gave you your 2 bone dice that you got and your copper die. So, how it works is you roll 3d6, you add it all together, you add the relevant ability, and if you have a focus in it, you add +2.
Ooh, I do have focus.
So,
I just roll it.
let
Oh,
me...
you can see. So what am I rolling against? A difficulty of some sort.
Correct.
So what determines the difficulty in this sort of game?
Me.
Ooh.
So it has target numbers just like most games, and that target number is based on the GM's arbitration, and there's a little handy chart which gives you example target
I
numbers.
haven't seen this.
So this is a weird
Is it all
folded screen.
Is it on the back of it? Those are all the chunks. Oh yeah, it is. So this is no, it's not. I was gonna say that's Martian, but it's not. That's Martian.
Yep.
This could be anything.
No,
I'm sure it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's protomolecule.
That's cool. And this is something similar to what Aerostation would be. It's interior of the.
All right. So basic test difficulty, and this is going to be what's called an advanced test, but you come at it as a basic test, which I'll show you. So I determined a test difficulty, and this is going to be for you an average roll. So difficulty of 11. Now, because that's basic, if you succeed, you're going to get progress towards your goal of creating this transponder. The increments are hours. So in this case, we'll do the roll, and then I'll explain how we're doing the advanced part of it.
Okay.
So you need to hit an 11. You need to do that with 3d6 plus your intelligence, which is a 3,
plus my focus,
plus
which is
2, so plus 5.
So why is one of the dice a different color?
That is called the drama dice, and you'll see in a second why.
All right, that is not going to do it.
Oh, don't
I know.
touch
I'm
it.
just kidding.
Okay.
So 8.
So there's something about this game, and I don't remember if they have it here, but it's actually like things to remember about the Expanse is do not touch your dice.
Oh.
After you roll them, leave them there. So it's not like you can bunch them up, but don't go, oh, I got this value, and grab them and take them out of the kitty. Leave them there because this is important.
Okay. So I got a 12. I got a 14.
Yeah. So you succeeded. Now, the advanced part of this is that you need to hit a threshold of... you're working on something that takes a lot of time. So this is your drama die. It determines a lot of things in the course of the game. It can determine how much you succeed over someone else. Like if you were rolling against someone, that would tell you how much better you did to them from them or that.
So it's kind of like rolling a natural 20 or a natural 1.
Correct.
That sort of stuff. Okay.
So also it's a tiebreaker. If you're rolling against someone, they get 11, you get an 11. You compare the result of this die to their drama die, and the higher one wins.
Right on.
It does a couple other things. It, again, determines values of success or greatness of success. You have a 1 on it. So you need to get 5 successes total in a tally, with every roll you make being an hour of time that passes that you're working on this.
Okay, but
so now you've just spent an hour and you've gotten 1
holy moly
towards your
so that means
time.
I roll again, and whatever this says is how many hours I've passed.
Nope. It's just that goes towards the tally of 5.
That's what I'm saying. So if it rolls a 3, then I get 3 knocked off?
You get 3 knocked off, and that roll took an hour.
Oh, each roll takes an hour now?
Yes.
Oh, no.
So it's how long is this going to... Like, if you rolled another 1, okay, you've spent 2 hours. You roll another 1, I've spent 3 hours. But you could have rolled a 6 on that or a 5 and done it in 1 hour.
So here's my question, though. So now I need 5 hours. I've spun...
No, you need 5 successes. You need 5 tally on the drama die.
That's what I'm saying. So I've got 1. Now I'm going to roll again, and it has to be a success.
It has to be a success.
And if it's a 3, so I've already done 1. If it's 3, do I knock 3 more hours off? Okay.
No, it's not. These aren't hours. You keep confusing that. Every roll is an hour.
Oh, I see.
If it takes you 5 hours, if it takes you 5 rolls, it's 5 hours.
Gotcha.
If it takes you 1 roll, it's 1 hour.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has to beat an 11 again.
Great. So you need to beat 11 and hopefully get a better roll in your drama die.
So 9. Yeah, 11 right there. So
yeah. So he's succeeded again. He's hit the target number 11. His drama die is 2. He knocks off 2 more successes, 2 more tally on his way to finishing.
But it's taking me another hour.
It's now taking him another hour to do this.
That's crazy. I like that. That defines time, because especially if there's battles going on and shit.
Right.
Like this killing
that
us. Like
goes.
killing
So
us.
there's advanced test, and then there's challenge test, where each roll has a consequence if you're not going fast enough. Like, you only have 3 hours before something arrives and blows your ship up. So now you're rolling and going, oh god, if I fail this one, it gets here, type of thing.
Easily beat it. And they got a 6 there.
And you got a 6,
shit,
so
that would have been nice, yeah.
So it took you 3 hours to create the false transponder code and make the new ship. What did you name the new ship?
Ooh, I get to name the ship, huh? Let's go with the Akaishi, which is A-K-A-I, and then she is a different word. It means Red Death.
Okay. Akaishi. You have made the transponder for the Akaishi. Now you're going to need to go get the contract for it, which you can do in several ways. You can do it legally. It'll take days. Mm-hmm. And you have to do an income roll.
Yeah, we're trying to get this done quick.
Yep. You can, you don't have many contacts or anything, but you have that reputation of being a fixer. You might want to put out some feelers. Or you can use your once per adventure once per session black market to go purchase it, but that will hit you
-1.
Put you at -1, which you're hoping this will give you a big score so you could recover from that.
Plus, this is a one-off. Might as well try it. Plus, we can show what it looks like to do that. So, my expert Fringer talent allows me once a session to roll a +2 on the income black market. I get a +2 to my income roll, on the black market, but I take a -1 income no matter what, which is 0, which means I get to -1, which means any future rolls I take will be at a hindrance. Gotcha. All right.
Okay. So the target number for a black market contract, just something that you can throw out a number and hope they're not going to go check it, because they're not going to, whoever captured, if it's a patrol or security or whatever, you're hoping that they're not going to sit there and tight beam a message and check it. They're just looking to see if it's a right number, like a number that's possible.
That's a word from the books. So because you're out in space, if you signal something, it just goes out. and that's not always what you want. You want
That's
that
radio.
person to hear it. So you send it by
Laser.
typing. Yeah, it's basically like micro radio. We do that in reality right now. If you ever look at a cell phone tower or like a tall tower that has a little radio dish on it, that's a microwave transmitter for emergency services. So like police and things that way, you can't find them on the tuner because they're not 101.1. They're 101.0883, like that kind of stuff.
Yep. All right, so this is actually an easy test. Getting falsified documents on the black market. So it's a difficulty 9.
It's a difficulty 9.
And you get a +2, so you have a 2. So you're going to be rolling your 3d6, and you have +2, and you're looking for a 9.
That's good. Yeah, I blew that up.
Woo! Nice. Look at that roll. Oh, okay. So this is something else that happens. So this is it's an income test, and it normally wouldn't apply, but I want to tell something about these rules that happens. And this is a major component to this game. He rolled a 4, a 6, and a 6. So he has doubles. Whenever you roll doubles, and it doesn't matter which dice they go across, if it's drama or not, you produce what's called stunt points. And that allows you to take options. This is how you get called shots or suppressive fire or do extra damage in combat. But there's also stunts for everything. So I'm going to show you these sheets. There's general combat stunts, grappling stunts for specifically using grappling, melee stunts if you're using weapons or fists, gun stunts, stunts while you're in a chase, whether on a ship or in other vehicles or on foot. There's vehicle combat stunts, space combat stunts,
Holy shit.
general exploration stunts. So if you're going out and trying to discover something, like if you're going to the asteroid belt and I say, hey, you need to explore, so use your searching, and you double, you can start taking these and looking at these and spending points on them. There's infiltration stunts, which is if you're taking an infiltration scene, sneaking into someplace, and investigation stunts if you're following up on leads or trying to discover something. Membership and reputation stunts. So if you ever use your reputation for anything, you can use
if I hit
these.
a double, then I get to do a stunt.
Then yes, and you can, and this determines the points. So it's not about the doubles.
Oh, okay.
So you have 6 points, and you'll see they all have costs.
So these are general social, attitude.
General social stunts, attitude stunts, and I believe that's all of them.
No purchase. So what would this fall under?
Nothing. It just some tests don't have them.
Gotcha,
Income tests don't. Actually, I think there is a social stunt that will allow you to get money back when you do a purchase. Maybe.
That would be nice. Income is -1.
I'm not going to be able to find it probably, but I do remember there was something about like a social stunt which gives you a +1 to go buy something or something like that.
That's okay.
But,
I got it.
their income tests generally don't produce stunts, but if this was a roll on just about anything else, you could have tried to use stunt points to do something. You can also, and so this is the thing, this is actually the part I don't like about the AGE system. I don't like the stunts. It's complicated, it makes a meta currency, it stops the flow of game. So the moment you're in combat and you roll doubles, you're like, now you're looking at stunts and seeing what you can do.
I can see how that would be distracting.
And a lot of these things, I believe, should just be choices that you can do. Take cover. Why is take cover in here? Like, I can run behind cover.
Yeah.
This just combines it into the attack action. There's called shot. Like, if you want to shoot for an eye or a hand or something like that. There's some really cool ones that do make sense as a stunt, as an additional effect. But I believe
commit this to memory, it's time consuming.
Right. I believe a lot of these should have been options, just combat options in general. But it is a cool effect I just think they way overdid it. There's way too many of these.
Well, there's sometimes people want to play for 9 hours anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so they go for it.
Regular combat. Where's regular combat? There it is. Okay. So there is also a stunt action. So if you particularly want to do one of these things, you're like, this is what I want to do with my action.
Mm-hmm.
You can declare a stunt action, and this is where it gets kind of weird. Like, hey, I want to make a called shot. And I go, no. And you're like, okay, I'm going to take a stunt action. You roll the dice, and you can do no damage. So your weapon attack actually doesn't do any damage. But you automatically generate 1 stunt point. You get more if you roll doubles, just like normal.
Oh, wow.
But you're kind of gambling on the fact that you're not going to do damage, and you're only going to be guaranteed to get one of the effects that's a 1.
So when you say that it creates a meta currency, does that mean I have a stunt point on hand ready for next time, or it's only for this action?
It's only for that action.
Gotcha.
You have to spend it immediately.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
The only exception to that is space combat, where the leader of the ship, the commander of the ship, generates stunt points at the beginning of the round, and as the crew takes actions, he can choose to spend those stunt points on their actions. So the commander, that is very clever, and I really do like the space combat in this game. But the stunts in other roles, cool, thought, kind of overbearing. So, you succeeded, you got the thing.
Change the transponder.
You change the transponder, you have the fake mining contract. It's ready to go. So, now, we're going to talk about a couple other things. So, you rolled a 6 there, and that's not the first time you've rolled a 6 on the drama die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Let me show you this. I think this is the name of one of the books. The Churn.
The Churn is a ship.
Okay.
Sure.
So.
No, that's not right.
I think it's a book. I think it's one of the
No,
books.
it's not Churn. Because they all have biblical names.
Okay. But there's something in the Expanse lore that is called the Churn.
I want to say it's when spinning stops and you get crunched, or the spin is called the churn.
So this happens to have a tracker on the back of the Game Master's kit, which has a introductory adventure, and it has the churn tracker. But the churn is an optional rule for GMs, but it's a part of the Expanse writing and game itself, the writing and the world.
Oh, it's a novella.
Yeah.
It was an ebook released earlier, so yeah, so
Okay.
never mind.
So the churn is, and there's other games that do this, and I really enjoy it sometimes.
They did Gods of Risk, The Butcher of Anderson Station, The Vital Abyss. There's a bunch of little books from this. I didn't even know that. There's at least 4 novellas. I'll have to look at those.
So this is a meta track, a meta timetable. I know that the Firefly RPG also has something like this. I can't remember what they call it, but the churn is if things seem to be going well, then something bad is about to happen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And nothing goes smooth. There's always going to be something that goes sideways.
And that's Amos's novella, so that would be exactly correct, where he thinks everything... It's a completely Earth-based thing. Anyway, go ahead.
So, the churn is a tracker, and it's supposed to be the GM's little secret. They keep it off to the side, but every time the players hit a milestone in the campaign, like they finish a major scene or an interlude, so actually, I'll just read it. Every time a character succeeds on an ability test and rolls a 6 on the drama die, add 1 to the churn. So I'm at 2, because he's rolled 2 6s on that. A character spends 4 or more stunt points to perform a stunt. So if you do the big flashy stunts, you get this. Fortune points are spent to alter a die roll, which is one of the uses of fortune points. The character successfully overcomes an encounter or hazard. and at the end of a scene in the adventure, which
so this is going to add up.
It just happens. So this thing increases and it goes to 30. Hopefully it never gets to 30 in a specific session, because this happens every session. It resets to 0. But at 10, 20, and 30, shit happens. Shit goes down. It hits 10, and one of these things happens. And there's minor, major, and epic. And at 10, a minor happens. At 20, a major happens. And at 30, an epic happens. And it could be just me saying a roll fails. It could be me saying that piece of equipment just is broken.
Mm-hmm.
It could be me introducing an NPC or sliding something, like creating a tension in some way.
Yeah, it's a minor churn, you're saying.
It could be anything. Like a new hazard appears, an NPC's attitude shifts one step less favorable automatically.
What's the example of an epic churn?
Epic churn. A test can only succeed at a significant price, like sacrificing lives, valuable equipment, or social standing.
Oh, jeez.
Or a new epic adversary enters the plot, or an existing adversary is upgraded to that level.
What happens if it hits 30?
That it's just the end. Like that's
Can't go any higher.
It can't go any higher. The churn has you've been churned for that game.
Gotcha.
So this is the churn. Is no matter what's happening, you're in that meat grinder with everyone else, and something bad's going to happen.
And I learned about 4 new books from the series.
Yep. All right. So you're done with that. You're on your way.
You're not keeping track of the churn?
I am, but that thing is too
Gotcha.
big, and I have to get to these things. So I'm not going to be moving it around.
Gotcha. So I guess I'm making my way back to the ship from the black market, wherever that is.
You make your way back to the ship, and you're ready to go.
All right. Do we know how long it's supposed to take to get out there?
This is a fairly close contract, so it's going to take hours. Just
Yeah. I was going to say, because we get hard burn, but you'd have to knock me out.
You'd have to knock you out?
Well, not knock me out, but I would have to be sedated, so I would have to. I couldn't help her with anything if you wanted to go faster.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that counts in this or if they.
yeah, it does.
Okay.
They absolutely do. If you go regular burn, you can get there in, let's say, 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut that down by 4 to get there in 8 hours if you go hard burn. But you will have to be brought out of sedation when you get there. And it could put stress on her, you, and the ship if you do it. So you've already wasted 3 hours making the transponder, a couple hours at the black market.
Mm-hmm.
The message seemed to say, hey, there's only going to be so long before a ship goes out to investigate the missing.
That's kind of what I was getting at, and I think
So-
we'll be used to doing illegal stuff like this, so knocking me out is probably a normal thing.
All right.
Hard burn.
So we're going to hard burn. You are filled with the juice, but you need to make a constitution check
Knew it.
to resist the hard
What
burn.
do I roll for a constitution check? Hard burn.
So you roll the 3d6. You're going to add your constitution.
Nope.
Do you have a... You don't have anything in constitution, no focuses.
No, but I have a pretty okay constitution.
So +2. It's somewhere in here is the test for that, and I believe it's 11 for the most cases. So, but I'm not going to look it up.
Oh, doubles again. So I stunt juice. I'm just but I beat the hell out of it. I got a 16.
All right. Now I'm going to roll for her. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, she's fine. So you guys...
Need to roll?
I'm not going to get into that right now.
Okay.
But ships have stats like everyone else. They have hull, they have qualities, and in this game, qualities can be added to equipment, and they apply to ships as well. And there's qualities and flaws, and that will actually raise or lower the income check needed for that thing. So if you need a gun and you don't care if it's shoddy or not, you can lower that difficulty and get a crappy zip gun type of thing, or you can try to raise it up and get the best gun on the market type of thing. Ships also have the same type of thing. Some ships are bulky, some ships are sleek, some ships are maneuverable, some ships have great sensor packages, some are blind.
Some are haulers.
They just have, some are reliable, some are faulty. Sensor's out again, damn it, you gotta beat it. I didn't have the time to go through the qualities and make this ship, so it's just standard baseline. I'm not going to require the roll for the heartburn in this case because there's other stuff happening.
All right.
So you get out to this asteroid belt, and you not exactly know what you're looking for. I mean, ostensibly you're looking for a ship.
And we're actually only in the last place it's ever been.
Right. You're actually in the place it was supposed to be going.
Oh, gotcha.
So you don't even know, they may not have even gone here. They might not even got here. They could have burned up or exploded in burn.
Gotcha.
Or overshot because they couldn't, their maneuvering jets went down, they couldn't flip. Anything could have happened. You're just hoping that it's here and something happened to it here.
Gotcha.
You guys are in a small freighter. All right. What's their sensor? 0, of course.
I was going to say, I know what to look for. We'd be looking for heat signatures. We'd also be looking for gravity incorrections. That's not right, not gravity incorrections. And we'd be looking for transponder signals for sure. If they were going silent, then we'd be looking for heat signature.
So, for example, in this case, small freighters do automatically start with the fragile flaw, which means its hull size is 1 lower when you're actually reducing damage from attacks.
Gotcha.
So, hull is normally... Just interested, I'm wondering why they even put that there. For medium ships, it's 1d6. For large ships, it's 2d6, but fragile means this turns into a 1d6. I'm wondering why they didn't do that.
Weird.
So, if you see here, fragile. The ship is not as structurally sound as it should be, or perhaps once was. Reduce its hull score to that of one size category below the ship size. So a fragile colossal freighter, for example, has a hull score of 3d6 instead of 4d6.
It might be as if you wanted to create your own special small freighter, that kind of thing. It would make sense. This is what you need to roll for a ship this size. Or if you just want to write something, I want it to be this big, I want it to have this kind of thing.
All right. So you need to do some sensor readings.
All right. I've got proficiency in searching.
So in this case, generally you would use the sensors would add, but it's a 0.
Okay.
So use your intelligence searching because you're knowing where to look and how to maneuver the ship to get the best range on your sensors, bouncing off the asteroids and trying to see, get that reading, and you're knowing what to look for in that reading. Metal coming back instead of rock or anything like that. So, this is going to be an advanced test.
Density, that's what it was. Sorry. So if I know that this asteroid is supposed to have this sort of density and it's showing as bigger, that's what it was, not gravitational differences. These are too small to create gravity wells. This
is going to be advanced tests.
All right.
You're going to need to get 8 successes total. This is an asteroid belt. It's pretty big. He had, the contract they had was for a specific area, but it's still a massive zone.
Do we know what the ship looks like?
Yes.
What type of ship it is? Okay.
She got, while you were off at the black market doing that, she was getting the clearance to leave, and she also got the information on the spider monkey.
All right.
So each of these rolls is going to be 4 hours of flying around, pinging, watching sensors, and you need to get 8.
Okay. So,
the target number is 11.
Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I missed it.
And searching?
Not yet.
So hold
searching.
on.
Plus 2, right?
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8, 9,
8,
and then 2.
9.
Plus 2 for my
proficiency. It's perception. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11. Correct. 2 plus 2 for that.
I got it.
So 11.
But that was 4 hours.
That was 4 hours. Now, remember that if you failed that, because of your observant ability, you'd have gotten to re-roll.
Oh, so I can keep doing that. I can remember
Right.
that. All right.
So here's an interesting thing. You can spend fortune points to change the value of these dice. You can change the value of any of these dice by spending, or any of the regular, normal, not drama dice. You can change the value of it to what you spend in fortune points. So if you were to spend 5, you could say this 2 becomes a 5.
Oof.
Okay?
That's a heavy amount of fortune.
It's a heavy.
points.
To change the drama dice,
Double it up.
double.
Ugh.
Okay? Now I'm going to give you an advanced use of this. You have Observant, which would allow you to re-roll.
Yeah.
You could spend 1, change this to a 1, and fail the roll, which would allow you to re-roll and hopefully get a better drama die
Let's
result.
do that. Yeah, that's some mitigating.
That's super advanced.
All right, so I'm using fortune to re-roll at my observation then. Fuck, dude. That's some rules bending right there. 6.
Oh my god. It's an 11. You got it.
I got it at 11.
Yeah,
and I got 4. It's doubled up on the
You
score.
doubled up on the thing.
All right,
So
cool.
he barely made it again. He made an 11 again.
No, I made it 10.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because of... Okay,
I can
so
spend
spend 2 to
spend
make
2.
a 2 out of this.
Perfect.
And
Now
you
it's a
succeed.
success, and we got 4 instead of... Now we're halfway there.
So he spent 2 of his fortune dice to turn one of his 1s to a 2, which gave him the 11 he needed
And
to
my
succeed.
drama dice was twice as high as it was last time. So even though it's cost me 3 fortune points, it was a big success.
So he has now gotten 4 successes towards the 8 he needs, and they've spent 4 hours out in this field. I will say that this is a challenge test. There is consequences. There's a timer. There's something that's
I figured
going to happen.
I figured since we keep saying time out
Yeah.
loud, something's coming.
So,
All right. Oh, much.
woo!
Fuck yeah. Triples.
Triple 6. So that would produce stunt points. You're doing an investigation roll. So
Searching, yeah. Searching
let's
stuff.
look at searching
Or
stunts.
investigation stuff.
This is an investigation.
That also gives us 10, so I've
Scene.
and
you're done. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, but I also I rolled an 18, 22, so I doubled what I needed.
Okay.
Plus there's some side of stunt.
Also, you get a 6. Yeah, 6 on this, so the churn goes up. So, general exploration stunts. I'm going to read these off real quick. 1 through 3, you can spend 1 to 3 of that stunt. You have 6 stunt points. Let's just represent that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 stunt points to spend. You have to spend them immediately. They don't stick around. You might want to keep those. Well, yeah, it could be fine for
I'm
now.
over here.
Yeah. But that's your
Yeah.
pool. So you have 6 stunt points. You can spend 1 to 3 of them on when a plan comes together. You reveal this test was a part of your plan all along, granting a bonus equal to the SP spent on one ally's next test during the same encounter to accomplish the same goal. So you could have been like, oh, I had a feeling, I knew that it was going to be in this sector, so we go over there and you can give Ellie a +1 on her piloting or any other check she does to salvage this thing.
Gotcha.
Or whatever it is. And it's +1 per the ones you spent, so you can give up to a +3. You don't know what she's going to be doing,
idea, yeah.
so 1 plus cost, so 1 or more, is a stitch in time. You put in the effort to do it right the first time, setting yourself up for greater success later. You gain +1 per stunt point spent on your next test related to this one during the encounter. So this gives it to you. And you can spend as much of this you want. You can spend all 6, and you give +6 on the next thing you do, which is probably going to be going over to this.
Even though it's not me
derelict
doing it, like
No, this is for you. This would be you're giving yourself a bonus to your next roll in regards to this investigation.
okay, cool. So I was gonna say if we went over to it, I'm not saying like I do all this and then she gets it right the first time.
No.
just
So when a plan comes together, is for someone else.
Gotcha. Okay, then
and,
Stitch in Time
and
is
Stitch in Time is
all
for
right,
you.
cool.
Yeah, it's the same effect, but
Pay dirt.
pay dirt. In the course of your endeavor, you win a bet, happen across a conveniently abandoned stash. Now, not all of these stunts are applicable. They're only applicable if that. But in this case, you would temporarily gain +1 income per SP spent. This increase lasts until you next fail an income test. This could be, and so the outcome of this test is you find the ship.
Yeah.
It is derelict.
But I could have bet someone in the bar. I'm like, hey.
Oh no! Like you could say there's a mother lode in there. Like you can now change the outcome or add the outcome of. There's even more money than you guys thought you were going to get out of this all in there. So there's something on that ship that's worth a lot of money just sitting there.
Gotcha.
And like, hey, you hit pay dirt. We found the ship, and not only did we find it, it's got what we want. It's got exactly what we want. Jury rig is you find or improvise a piece of equipment you'll need later to be more effective. Negate the situational penalty for not having proper equipment. Doesn't apply. You have all the equipment you need. Though you have all the equipment you need. Speed demon. You complete the test in half the time it would take otherwise. So you could. I said it would be 4 hours for each roll. It would down be 2. So you would have only spent 6 hours out here instead of 8. That's for 2, and you can combine all of these, right? You can do different stats. 3 is for cost of 3, the upper hand. If your success leads to combat, you receive a +3 on your initiative. 4 for 4 points, you can do with a flourish. You impress everyone who watches, which is just her, so it doesn't apply. And 5 is frugal. You use only what you must to get the job done, saving yourself for a rainy day. This income test doesn't deplete your income, even if it normally would.
So these general exploration stunts had all the income.
Yeah, so this one had it, and when you rolled, did you get a 5?
There's no way I could possibly remember. We'll have to look at the video later, but that's just something to keep in mind if we play this for real. All right. Okay, so I want to do pay dirt.
So pay dirt
and speed demon.
So 2 for speed demon
and 1 for pay dirt. Right?
And are you just doing 1? So pay dirt is 1+.
Oh, well, let's do the rest for pay dirt.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You get +4 to your income.
Nice.
Put it in a temporary bracket.
Oh.
Because it goes away after your next roll.
And I'll just say, it looks like this ship has some stuff attached to the outside to increase its effectiveness that we can take off before we bring the ship in. This is not licensed material, but it's very expensive.
All right.
So now we've done it in 6 instead of 8.
You've done it in 6 hours instead of 8.
All right.
You found the ship, so you've got it on scanners. You're starting to head up towards it now.
Made a couple bucks.
It's going to have some pay dirt in it. It's going to have some really good bits, something in there that's good to sell, ready to go. Hell, maybe the drive is completely intact, and you can pull it right out and
or
take it with you.
Or something sitting in the back that's this is a generator. Right. We can take this,
So it's worth a lot, whatever it is.
All right.
As you move up, go ahead and make me a perception check as you get physicalized.
When I do a check like this, I'm trying to beat 11. Is it the base?
In this case, this is kind of open-ended for me. I just want to see how high you get to see how much detail you get. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12. All right. So you're in the back. You're getting in your evac suit because or your vac suit because you're about to go out there.
I'm gonna start calling it an evac suit.
Yeah, it keeps in my head an evac suit, vac suit, and then you kind of come up. You're ready to put the helmet on and put the seal and have her check you. So you come up to the cockpit just to be there, and out of your the cameras, especially on the screens, you're starting to get the first close-up images of this. The spider monkey has been torn apart with what looks like point defense guns, point defense cannons, the PDCs. So this thing is shredded and just floating.
Does the spider monkey have weapons of its own?
Nope.
Okay, so
it was just a regular mining vessel.
All right.
It's and she's the first thought is pirates.
But everything's still in it.
Everything's gone, right? Your first thought would be if pirates, they would have already gone in there and taken everything. Yeah. So it's kind of
shoot.
But also now, that was a belter. That was a free belter. He had his own ship, his own contracts. He didn't work for a company. Only freelance contracts out. Mm-hmm. So now it's also a little personal as who the hell did this, and can we find out how and maybe get some justice.
Is there any way to tell what type of weapons? I mean, we can see it's PDCs, but there's no like obvious marking like this is a Martian cannon or this is we would know anyway. Yeah. All right.
And generally, there could be some differences if you find slugs, but almost all of them would pass straight through.
Yeah, totally. So did our search pick up any other surrounding? There's no ships.
No, there's no other heat signatures. No nothing. You are in a lot of asteroids, so there could be things
could be everywhere,
hiding. But you've been flying around. You've gone down into the asteroids. Your sensors have gone pinged all over the place. There's definitely nothing on the top, the top to you. Because when you go into an asteroid belt, you don't just start flying through asteroids. You fly above it, scan down, and then you find what you want and go in because it's dangerous. I should have made a piloting check for her, but she's really good at what she does, and I'll just say she succeeded because I don't want you guys getting killed by the NPCs.
The one-off gun, and the rocks got us. Like we didn't even make it to the ship.
You guys went down. So any cover anyone else would have, you have now as well.
Okay.
So she's like, well, I mean,
might as well take a look at it.
Take a look.
So you're gonna need to match spin so I can get out.
Okay. So yeah, it's sitting there spinning, and she does her piloting check. She succeeds. It's fun. So she match spins.
That's fun.
It's great. She's good at what she does.
All right, so I'm gonna have to jump out and jump to it. Don't need to do that's a free fall.
Free fall.
Dexterity. All right.
It's target number 9.
Double. I'm sorry, it was a 1. It was doubles. But I did not do well. 2, 5, 8, 10.
You need a 9. So.
Okay. All right.
This is exploration. So the save.
This would be the same ones we were looking at.
Yep. You only have 1, so it's pretty much you can add to the pay dirt. You can give yourself a +1 to the next thing you do, which is going to be trying to get into this.
Yeah, let's
ship.
do that. I'll spend it on that.
So you're doing a stitch in time, which is setting you up. As you're going in, you actually see a perfect place to cut through. I mean, it's their latch, but it kind of got shredded a little bit, so it's going to be quicker for you to get through, easier. So the spider monkey is a. It's smaller than a freighter. It's kind of like roundish, flattish on each side. It has one of those big haulers on the back where you just stuff stuff into it and carry it. It doesn't have much in there. It has only a couple chunks of rock in there, so it was very early in their time out here apparently that this thing happened because it doesn't have a full net. But it also has a drone. Pilot, it's not a drone, it's a hopper on top. It has a little guy that you can pilot, can go up into, and goes out and has arms. So there's a little extra vehicle on top of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And...
Alright, well, I'll attempt to get in.
Okay, that's going to be a engineering.
So that's intelligence?
Yes. As you're cutting through.
Bouncy. Doubles. So same thing. 6, 11, 14.
+1 because the stitch in time. So 15. You're easily through this.
Can I add another one to pay dirt?
No more in pay dirt.
All right.
I think you've tapped that one out on this.
I have 5 points. What's the biggest one I can buy?
5 points on your inflation is frugal.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, don't worry about those anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just cutting.
And this, not every test can produce stunts, right. So this is just a means to an end.
I found it real good. I cut in real good. Okay. I climbed in real good.
So you pop it open, and actually, when you get there, you realize that this thing has been welded shut. So it was opened and then re-welded closed. So someone's already been in here. So you discovered that, and that's why you had the +1, because you just went along the lines and popped it back open.
Just invite people to join it.
Join the chat.
We like chatters.
We do like chatters. We interact. So you climb down inside. You're in the receiving chamber. This place is one of the places that got rounds through it. So pretty well shredded. All the back suits are torn up and gone.
Crew floating around.
No crew in this. So the Spider Monkey had 3 crew. They were like
Pilot, 2 techs.
Pilot, tech, and basically pilot and 2 muscles. But they were like family. Like it was a father and a son, and the son's best friend type of thing. So you're just in the back part of this, where the receiving chamber from the hatch, where you get your vac suit on and all that. So going into the only other place, well, there's 2 other places. There's a pilot compartment, and then there's at the bottom there's a cargo hold. Do you want to go in the pilot compartment or cargo hold?
Normally I go in the cargo hold first. I said pirate. I'm like, normally I go into the pirate place, but I want to go into the cockpit for this one just because I want to see what's going on.
Okay. So you go up into the cockpit, and yes, there are 3 shredded bodies floating around in here. One of them is in their crash couch. So the pilot was up there piloting. The other 2 are just floating around free. So they were obviously they weren't in burn or moving really that much. They were walking around this place. And yeah, that's a leg floats by. They get pretty torn up.
Does any of their sensor suite show any of that? What happened?
You gonna check for the black box?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's searching.
The black box is the only thing missing from this ship.
Damn it! I knew it.
They cut it right out.
Gotcha.
So, and they didn't touch anything else.
Yeah, I see that.
So, like, this isn't piracy. But, yeah.
All right. Let's move to the cargo hold real quick.
So you move the cargo hold and you hit your pay dirt. So you find a couple boxes down there, crates, and those crates have something very valuable, foodstuffs or whatever. They seem to have been repackaged, and if you want me to explain, you know what it is. It's laundering goods.
Yeah.
So
everything's been taken out of the original box and put it in
another box. Yeah. A ship goes out. A ship comes back and says, "Hey, look what we found!" And then all of a sudden, that stuff is legitimate salvage or recovery, not stolen goods from wherever they got it from. Yeah. It's something that she has done. That's how she got her in the OPA. As a scavenger, she did some laundering.
So we are working for the bad guys. Not necessarily bad. But I think the next thing I want to do, we're supposed to haul this thing back. Is that what we're supposed to do, or are we just supposed to come out and see what happened to it?
No, well, you're supposed to salvage. Well, the thing was given to you anonymously. It just showed you that it was out there and it was past date. So really, it's for you to make money off of.
Okay, so
you can do whatever you.
Well, I was gonna say I want to haul goods out, but I want to bring the bodies back because Deltas don't want to die in the vacuum.
Okay. Do you tell her what's going on?
Yeah, I'll skinny that stuff to her.
So no justice for the Belters, huh? They took the black box. That seems odd.
I don't want to be a secret about this.
And
it's almost steep.
Right? So, you ice a ship filled with cargo, valuable cargo, money-making cargo, but you don't take any of that. You just cut the black box.
Sounds like revenge. Maybe these people did something wrong. This looks like a killing.
Wait. What about that hopper on top?
I'll move up to it. I forgot about the hopper. I got mad when I saw the body. So do I need to go out of the ship to get to the hopper, or I just pull myself?
You just pull yourself up. So the hatch to the hopper is locked, it's closed, and you can tell that a round went through one of the hinges and tore it up. So this is you're not going to be able to just open this. You're going to have to cut the whole thing out.
Is there any exterior entrance into it?
Yeah, possibly.
Let's go out of the ship first and look.
Okay. Make a free falling EVA. Dexterity.
Doubles. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13, 16.
Allow you to do stitch in time to give your next test a bonus.
So 18 to get in.
What's your
drama? 5.
5. So you can spend up to 5 on your next test. I will also allow you, if you want to spend on speed demon, to take half the time.
Let's do that one. So 2 for.
So 2 for that, and then 3 more for +3 to your next action. All right. So you climb outside. You walk up. Easy jaunt outside. You mag boots. There is a door to get in and out of this.
Before I go in, though, does it look like? Can I see in the front of this thing?
No rounds hit this thing.
Is there anybody in it, though?
Nope.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I don't want to open it suck somebody out.
It has a latch. It's locked, but locked from the inside. But you know that you just have to burn through and pop that latch. It's not even like a cut or anything. You just and then it releases. It's not even a roll. Like just time, and that's what your speed demon is cutting down on.
Gotcha.
Pop. Over the radio. You coming back soon?
What's the rush?
Well, I just picked up an Epstein plume. Something is coming in retrograde hard burn.
Oh, so they've turned and they've already made it. All right.
So they have turned, but they did hard burn the entire way. So now they're going to hard stop.
All right, I'm going to take a quick look inside.
This thing has a terminal inside that might have some sensor data.
Can I remove it, or can I download it to my hand terminal?
Either one will take a technology test.
All right.
Do you want to... Yeah, okay. Either way, you're just trying to grab it and go. Yeah.
No, I don't want to grab it and go, because I don't want them to see that we were here, like we've done more stuff to it or whatever. Like, we're going to have to leave... No, fuck, I don't want to leave the bodies either.
Well, you've already taken the bodies and the goods over.
Okay, I've done that part already?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then, let's take...
This is like you had... As you're bringing the bodies up and the goods, you had the conversation about...
Gotcha.
Hey, what about the hopper?
Hand terminal.
So you're going to download.
Yeah. 8, 9, 12, 15.
Okay. No doubles?
No doubles this time for once.
Okay.
The one time it would count.
So 15. It would have been nice. You could do stitch in time, get half the time, all that stuff. You could spend to make a double, but you would have to...
I'd spend 2.
You'd have to spend 6 to make this a 3, or
fail the check.
Or spend 5 to make this a 5 and double that, or...
It only cost me 2. Oh, it cost me 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's the number you're going to. Or you can turn this into a 3, and that would be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
12,
11, 12.
Is that still a success?
That's still a success.
All right, let's do the 3 to change it back down.
Okay, so 3 to change it back down, but you only... actually, that doesn't help. Let's not do that. Right, cool. It's only 1 stunt point.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't do the stitch.
Don't get everything you want. All right.
Yep. So he couldn't, you would really have to change this to a 3, which would cost 6.
Yeah.
And get that 3 points to get the stitch in time, or not the stitch, speed demon at 2.
Gotcha.
Wouldn't be worth it. All right. So you power up the hopper and get access and start downloading.
Actually, the hopper flies, right?
Yep.
Can I fly this over to our ship?
Yeah.
Let's do that. That'll cut the time down.
Yeah. And the only thing is, if they know...
It's the same idea.
It's the same idea that you didn't want to cut things out.
They already know we've been here because now the people are gone. There was a pilot and stuff like that, so fucking fly the hopper in there.
All right. So you fly the hopper over and magna lock it to your ship.
All right.
Here's the problem. You now have to get out.
Yeah. There's no crash couch in this hopper?
No.
Damn it.
Or you can just try to suck it up and take it.
There's no way. I'm fucking Belta. I'll die.
Right. And she wouldn't do hard burn, but you can start moving.
Well, we can start moving. Let's pull away, and then I'll climb out. Yeah.
Okay. So you're on a moving ship, trying to climb out. Are you going to wait for the download to be done, or are you just going to be like, I'll get the download later?
We have the whole thing now. But
yeah.
I'll leave my hand terminal in here.
So you leave the hand terminal in there, and you're going to walk out. So you're on a moving ship, trying to get out of this.
You know what? Never mind. Never leave your hand terminal. We've got the thing. We're keeping. Well, we'll get it when we get there. We'll get it when we get there. Or yeah, that's fine. We'll figure it out.
So you walk out. You You're going to go out and try to get into the hatch of the ship while
it's a free fall check because it's moving.
Yes, it is. Target number 11.
All right, so 10, 13, 16.
Actually, I should make this a challenging test.
Yeah.
But I think you made that as well.
I mean, at 18, I think I still beat it. I think challenging is 13, wasn't it?
Challenging is 13.
13,
yep, yeah. And hard is 15.
So yeah, even if this was hard, I did it.
Yep.
I'm a back suiter.
Yep. You climbed out and got away. So the moment you're in,
right when the action starts,
you're going to go hard burn. Doop-doo. All right.
I'm in. We're burning. I'm trying to climb on the couch.
You burn, like you get in, you juice, you burn. I'm not going to worry about this right now because you escape. But as you come out and get out, you do your sensors bring in and identify the ship. It is an MCRN cruiser.
Mm. Unfortunately, it doesn't really mean anything. They might have picked that up while we were digging around. They have better sensor suite than we do. I mean, I'm sure it does because you're making a point of telling me. But yeah, I'm just saying.
It was an MCRN coming in hard on this asteroid belt that has no one in it.
Gotcha. Good point. All right.
So, yeah, this thing was trying to get here fast for some reason, and you got there faster.
Uh-oh. And brought some proto-molecule with it.
And you get out. You get back to Ceres, or you're at Ceres Station, right?
Yeah,
Ceres Station. So progressing, just for the sake of time, we're going to cut to what it is you got from that black box, because it shared all sensory data to a partition in the terminal in the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
So it captured all the sensor feed up to the end. So it pretty much was a secondary black box.
Gotcha.
So you guys, come back to Ceres and dock, and you go up there, you get the information, you come back in, and you and her watch it privately on your hand terminal. It's got sensor reads from the ship, and it's got audio from that. It doesn't catch camera data because that's too much information for the partition. So what you hear is just some normal, talk and shop. And you've got to read on this asteroid, sounding it, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then there's, holy shit. Like, what? There's a ship out there. What do you mean there's a ship out there? There's a ship. Look at the camera. There's nothing coming up on, holy shit, there's a ship out there. But why isn't it coming up?
Gotcha. Undetected ship at the last second. So this was literally just for us. Someone just told us this was here. No one was like wanted anything back. Or anything
now she's kind of like wondering who sent her this message.
Yeah.
And what's it mean? And what did they want to get out of this? So she's like, I think we got into something more than we should have. She makes some calls, and she's like, we need to get out of this.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get, first off, you guys go out and get a dummy hand terminal, like a fake one.
Get it off of our
Get it off of yours, delete it,
right.
And we need to get this to someone who knows. So she uses her membership and contacts someone in the OPA and says, hey, someone needs to see this. Someone needs to know why that these people died and what happened.
Better with this, yeah.
And it's out of our pay grade. So you go to a. Let me think. You're going into a tram on her station. You're supposed to make a drop. So you're supposed to go in there, kind of slide this in the wall, and then leave that tram car, and your OPA buddies are going to enter in and pick it up. So you get on the tram, and as you're walking over, the door's shut, and you're walking over to where the drop point is, the inner doors to the next tram car open up, and two men enter. They're about 6 foot. They are not belters. They seem to be in shabby clothing, trying to dress down.
Well, if they're 6 foot and they're not belters, they're probably dusters.
And they kind of walk in, and there's just like this moment of, they're just people passing through. It's just happenstance. And then there's the look between them and you realize that these people are here for you.
Gotcha.
Because I wanted to show some combat.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some combat.
Shit.
They're coming up. We're going to be rolling for initiative, and they're going to be coming up with their fists.
Oh boy.
So initiative in this game is actually an ability. It's a skill. It's based off dexterity. If you have an advantage, like a focus in it, you get +2. So it's kind of interesting. But you don't have it.
Yeah.
So we're rolling initiative.
Just trying to who's highest score. Is that all it is?
It's determining order. So go ahead and roll your dexterity.
So 9, 12, 15.
15.
Fuck you.
6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They're proficient at 17, 18. So.
Damn, faster than me. I'm pretty fast.
They go first. One of them is just going to come at you and try to lay into you.
So that's just against my
your defense.
13.
Okay.
That's just has to roll that.
He just has to roll that. Now, so I'm going to have the general combat stats, the grappling and the melee here, but there's also this, and So this is the action economy for this game. As people that play D&D, you know that you have like your move and your action and your minor action and reaction. In this game, on your turn, you have one major action and one minor action. You can trade down your major for a second minor if you want to do two of these things. Generally, what these are is minor actions don't require rolls, major actions do.
Gotcha.
Minor actions are things like activate if you want to turn on a device, activate hit a sensor or whatever, or readying a weapon is ready, and that'll allow you to put away something and pull something out. You can reach in, grab a tool, grab a gun or a weapon. There's also prepare, there's guard up, there's move, there's activate. There's several defensive options. Then there's major actions, which are your all-out attack, berserker attack type of thing, a charge, which includes a move.
Mm-hmm.
Move is a minor action. Charge is a move and attack in one action. Defend, which is you just focus on defense instead of attacking. An attack, melee or ranged. You can run, which is better than a regular move, but it takes up your entire action.
Yeah.
Or that stunt action, which gives you one stun point. Your attack does no damage, but you're trying to do a stunt.
What does stand firm do in the minor actions?
Okay. That makes, if someone is trying to use a knock prone or a grappling stunt against you, and you have used stand firm, you get bonus. Like,
Gotcha.
you can negate their stunt points.
Gotcha. All right.
Almost all of these you can use in any order. So you can move and then use an attack or whatever. There are some that have to be done in a specific order.
Gotcha.
Like guard up always has to come before an attack.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's because it adversely affects your attack because you're more guarding. So all out defense is you're just defending and that's all you're doing. You're not attacking. Guard up is I'm going to put my guard up and I can still attack.
Gotcha, but it makes it negative to your attack.
Yep.
All right. Come at me, bro.
So he has a fighting of 3 with a specialty focus in brawling. So
Great. So he gets a +6.
he gets a plus 5. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And you have a 13.
Yeah.
So he hits you. So many rules.
I know, right? I like the game. The play is fun, but like having to dig through all the sheets makes this kind of a pain in the butt. It
Yeah,
seems like something you
once you learn.
So like if you played it 3 or 4 sessions, you probably get better at it. But starting one like this, I mean, we're at 3 hours and 15 minutes, and haven't even gotten to like the.
So attack damage in this game is pretty standardized. So you're not having to worry about a weapon damage for like this specific pistol or that kind of rifle. It's just unarmed does D3 plus strength, makeshift weapons do D6 plus strength, light melee weapons do 1d6 plus strength or dex, heavy melee does 2d6 plus strength, pistols do 2d6 plus perception, rifles do 3d6 plus perception, and grenades do 3d6 to everyone in a 2-meter radius.
We're doing
That's it.
Unarmed, right?
Yeah, you're doing unarmed, so he's going to hit you with 1d3 plus his strength, which no, it's just a d6 halved.
Oh, gotcha.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he does 3 plus his strength, which is 3, so he does 6. So this is how damage works in this game, and this is one of the things I'm actually kind of excited for, and I kind of like. So in this game, unlike games like D&D, where you just have the buffer of all these hit points, and you're never really in danger until you get whittled away and get low. In this, a very cinematic game, story-driven, and pretty realistic, every hit is a potentially lethal hit. Every hit can take you out. It could just hit your jaw right, it could punch you in the stomach and leave you gasping for air, and you're knocked out and you just can't attack. So in this game, as you've noticed, probably when you're making your character, you don't have hit points. You don't have wound levels or anything like that. You have these conditions, which we'll get to. But
dying.
In the Expanse and the AGE system, all damage has to be accounted for. If you don't account for it, if you don't mitigate it in some way, you're taken out. So you have just taken 6 damage. Your toughness, which is your armor plus toughness, is Constitution is armor plus toughness. Oh, sorry. Toughness is Constitution plus armor.
Gotcha.
So
2 is my toughness.
3.
So it should be a 3 now. Oh, I just add these 2 together.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It is an entire, like, it probably should be a 3, but it's not always a 3 because you can take off your armor.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have reduced that by 3. So there's 3 left.
So you can use my fortune to reduce the other 3.
You can use 3 fortune to negate those and not have to worry about this.
Gotcha.
So, and that's what I'd suggest you do.
No, I'm going to do that.
So you spend 3 fortune and get rid of it. The other options for people that don't have fortune or what have you is you have to buy off the damage with conditions. Specifically in combat, you can take the injured condition, and that'll allow you to roll 1d6 and negate that much damage. If that's still not enough, then you can take the wounded condition. Mm-hmm. You roll another d6 and negate that damage.
There's like deafened, blinded.
If any damage remains, you are taken out.
Oh, wow.
And the opponent gets to pick what condition you get for that taken out. He could say you're dying, so he's killed you. He could say you're helpless. He could say you're unconscious.
Whatever it is he's doing, he could punch you and knock you out so unconscious. He could break your neck, make you dying. He could just make you helpless, like punch you in the stomach, and you're just buckled
Kick me in the
over.
balls.
Yeah, that kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
So
that's the first guy.
you can also roll over. You can just take yourself out. You can like, nope, I'm not going to win this fight, and just choose the moment you're hit to roll over. That allows you to choose which condition you're taken out on. So you could say, I'm not dying, I'm just unconscious, or I'm just helpless.
Well, that's before this fight even starts.
No, it's any time during the fight.
Oh, so right now I can be like,
you can, I roll over. Like, yeah, I just roll over. That's the first guy. The other guy attacks Ellie. So.
Oh, she's with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys are both making the drop.
Gotcha.
So, they're fighting next to you.
I thought it was me. I was like, oh,
no,
shit.
no, I wouldn't put it up against two. You're weak as shit.
I know. That's what I thought. I'm like, are we just killing me now? I didn't even level up.
Your turn.
All right.
So, you're gonna make an attack. You're gonna do guard up. You're gonna.
I'm just gonna attack. I'm mad now.
Okay. So melee attack.
Whatever plus my fighting.
3d6 plus your fighting, and you don't have any specialties that apply. So good luck.
Yeah, right. Doubles.
Ooh.
12, 13.
That hits, and you got doubles and a 6, so the churn goes up again.
Yep.
So you now get to make combat stunts. So general combat stunts, grappling stunts if you want to like wrestle with them or incapacitate them, and melee stunts.
Let's do melee stunts.
So
Lethal blow.
you may need a because parry,
Yeah. Let's
footwork.
go back to the general.
So general core, like the core are many of these stunts. Many of the stunts on the list are circumstantial, and they're not all applicable. Core are the ones that are kind of always there and always work. Adrenaline rush is regain fortune, so you can get fortune back up to 3 points in the fight. Momentum is gains +3 in the initiative per SP, so you can try to go first next.
Yeah.
So if you spent 2, you would go before them next round, which would mean you get 2 turns in a row. Duck and weave gain +1 defense per SP spent until the beginning of your next turn. So if you leave them in the initiative order and they attack you, you could up your defense. You can take cover, so not really helping you in a fist fight. Guardian Angel is to protect someone else. Skirmish is you can move your opponent and try to potentially put them in hazards, things like that. Whatever's handy is you get an improvised weapon, so you can go from being unarmed to armed and hit them with you reach down and find a pipe or something and hit them with it. Group tactics is you can move an ally. You can allow them to move now. But then there's double team, which you can have an ally immediately make attack against your target. So you can have Ellie, she's fighting hers and she gets maneuvered just perfectly to throw a punch at your guy. You can injure, so you can just give him the injured condition right away and knock that out from him being able to use it to mitigate damage. You can knock him prone. You can lightning attack, which is make a second attack immediately after this attack. You can overcome toughness, which means he doesn't get his toughness. His toughness is halved. He looks pretty stocky, and his jacket is padded as well, just like yours. Taunt is make someone attack you. Vicious blow is inflict an extra d6 damage.
Well, it's like a lethal blow and inflict 2d6 damage.
Yep. Yeah, and you can also do the inflict straight wound.
Well, that's if their hit points have been halved.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them that they have to be.
Well, these guys don't have fortune.
Oh.
So
that's right.
you can straight you can injure. You don't have enough points, but you could take his injury away from him or give him straight to wounded. That would take out his mitigation, and those conditions have penalties.
Yeah. Okay.
Sees initiative lethal blow. Now, even just going for vicious blow or lethal blow, if you can get 1 point of damage across to him, he's out.
Gotcha.
And he doesn't have fortune points, which means he has to use injured and wounded.
So let's grab a weapon because I've got 6 points to play with.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do one improvised weapon.
So you grab a weapon, so you're doing 1d6 damage now instead of 1d3.
All right, and then I'm gonna do lethal blow with the rest.
Lethal blow, so add 2d6
So
to this.
3d6.
So 3d6 plus strength. You just pick up a pipe. Bonk!
Fuck yeah. 11, 13, 14.
14. Jesus. Okay, so let's do this. He's got a 3 constitution and 1 point of armor, so that takes it down to 10. He has to take injured and wounded to even have a chance of negating the rest of the damage.
Gotcha.
So I have to roll a 10 or higher on 2d6 for him to be still standing, and he'll be injured and wounded. 8. He's taken out. Bink, bonk, and he drops to the ground. So these are thugs, and
pipe.
there's a lot of the characters or the threats they put in the back of the book, like thugs and things like that, do have fortune, and fortune is there to make, mitigate a little bit of damage and let them stay in the fight. But they also have an optional rule of 0 fortune, just let these people get taken out. And I decided to go with that just to kind of show
Yeah.
combat. Excuse me. All right, so now there's 1 thug left. He's going. He attacks Ellie. He gets a pretty good hit on her. She's hurting. She's injured.
All right.
So
I'm armed now.
Yep.
All right.
Dunk.
Let's go for it again.
So the makeshift weapon, if you miss and your drama die is 3 or less, it's going to break.
Okay. Not 10, so drama dice is 6.
You can spin this to turn that 1 to a 2.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's right.
Doubles.
I have to do 2, right?
No. Yeah, 2. So 1 to a 2. So that's 2, 4, 10 plus your fighting of 11.
So 11.
Actually, that's not going to hit. So
It would have to be.
bring the fortune points back real quick. Turn that to a 1. So if you really want to try to...
If I want to try to knock him out, I could spend it and make it double up on a 6.
If you want to... Yeah.
If I did this,
Yeah.
I could change this to a 6.
6,
That would be
and that'd be
12, 13,
double.
14.
And you would hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, let's do that.
So he is changing one of his dice to a 6, which matches the drama die, giving him doubles. He gets another 6 stunt points for this attack. You doing the same thing, or are you going to try something different?
Yeah, let's lethal blow him. That sounds bad.
Right, lethal blow, and... I mean, you already got the...
Yeah, I've already got the pipe, I don't need it.
Regain fortune. So you can get 1 back. You can just spin that, just spin that to get a point back, so you got a little
6.
bit.
So 2.
Alright, 3d6 again.
7, 11.
11, okay.
So it's a little less than we did last time.
His toughness 4 takes that down to 7, right? So he has to deal with 7 damage. 7 damage coming through. Injury's not going to cut it. So he has to take wounded and get better than a 7 on 2d6.
Fuck.
8. So he got 8. He negated everything, but he is wounded, which is a -2 on all his rolls, and he's hindered. He can't run or charge. Hit
him in the knee. Oh, look at all that stuff's right here. Check. Character has -2 penalty all tests and is exhausted. Their speed is halved and unable to take charge or run actions. Wounded character who receives an additional injured or wounded conditions becomes dying. Yeah. Alright.
Okay.
Fuck, I hit him right
So
in the knee.
he now turns to you because you're the bigger threat. And he's going to try to hit you with that -2. He has
that comes into play. I'm going to beat up.
3, 4, 5. He's got a +5 to this roll. Oh my god.
16. Again, 19.
Yeah, so he hits you.
Yeah.
He's doing the D3 damage.
Boom.
1 plus his strength, which is 3, so that does 4.
4.
So you negate 3 of it, so you have 1 damage left over. Spend a fortune. All right.
Is that free when I got back?
Yeah. Go for it. Doubles and a 6.
6.
I'm guessing
8, 10.
get a fortune back.
11. I got 11. That doesn't hit though.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Plus my 1. That's 11.
Yeah, that doesn't hit. So if you change one of those to a 3, You're not going to get the stun points.
It's fine, but it'll still be
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It'll just be so. It'll be. I have 10 here. I have 11. So if I add one, it'll be 12. Will 12 hit him?
Nope.
Okay, well, then I won't waste them.
Okay.
It's a missed hit.
Your weapon doesn't break though, because you got a 6. But you still have stun points. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's right.
You can do double team and have her attack, or you can do lightning strike and attack again.
What's lightning attack? Just go again.
Go again.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much is that?
Lightning attack is 2. Make a second attack on your turn, either against the same target or a different target.
I'll do lightning attack, then I'll let her attack. That's another 2.
Let's see. Double team is another 2.
So there we go.
Okay. And then you can get a fortune point back. And you may I may have done that
2
wrong.
fortune points back.
If you.
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right,
2,
so
4, 6. And I may be doing that wrong. You may have to succeed to get stun points, but
Yeah.
I'm running with it. So.
So now I'm going to attack again. I do not hit, but now she gets to go. Ooh.
Ugh.
8.
Yeah.
Plus
So.
dude, bro, stay.
6, 7, 8. So nothing. Like,
All right.
miss.
I mean, it's combat.
Yep.
It's supposed to be hard. That's him.
Yep.
Okay, 11, 15 plus.
He can't
4.
get doubles. So D3, 3, 4, 5, 6. He does 6 damage to you.
Ooh.
So you take away 3 of that, so you have 3 damage left over.
All right, I'm gonna cough it up. Unfortunately,
All
right.
right.
I can do it. All right, get him this time.
Attack.
I know it. The pipe. 7. Fucking 11, 12.
You're so bad at this.
I'm not
It
a
was
fighter.
doubles.
It was doubles. So do I get to do it again? So
You want to do 2 for lightning attack?
Yeah, I'll do for lightning attack
and
and I'll
2
do for double team again.
No, get 2.
Oh yeah.
Get 2 fortune points
Yeah.
back.
All right. Fuck me.
Miss.
Miss,
Good.
and I break my
You-
club. Yeah. All right, so that's that.
All right.
She goes now. Oh no, she doesn't go now.
Nope. He goes. She's pretty ineffective in
doubles.
combat.
There it is. 12.
Oh, there it is, but only 2
14.
stun points. Okay. It's 2 stun points. He is going to.
Grab whatever the fuck's handy.
He's going to injure you.
Oh.
So you just go right to injured. That leaves your option pool, and he's rolling damage. That's 3, 4, 5, 6 again. So you're dealing with 3 overflow from your toughness.
All right, there we go.
All right.
It's getting down to it.
Your roll -1 because you're injured.
This is gonna be a high roll. I can feel it. Come on, white dice, don't fail me now. 11. Oh no, 9, 13, 14.
That hits and doubles.
Oh, but -1, 13.
That hits.
Okay.
You need a 13.
And I got doubles again.
And you get doubles, so 5.
Jesus Christ.
5 points. 5. Alright, you can grab another, whatever's handy, or you just want to go with a lethal blow.
Let's go with lethal blow.
That's all 5.
Alright, lethal
So, 2d6 plus 1d3. So just roll that and half your copper die.
3, 4.
4.
God damn it.
So
I
he
think
takes.
he's negated, right? He has 4. Just
Yeah, he's 3 and 1. Yep.
But he's wounded, isn't he? His lethal blow. Oh no, it just adds stuff.
Yep.
Damn it.
Actually, let's rewind that and think about this better.
Yeah.
Instead of lethal blow, you can wound him, and that takes him out.
All right. So that's.
So you just spin 5.
We're learning.
Because it would give him wounded. He's already wounded. That takes him to dying.
Gotcha.
So you just like.
Oh, that's right. He's already wounded.
He's already wounded.
Oh,
So
then
you
I
just
would've- sorry, I forgot about that. Then yeah, I would have just picked wound and killed
Picked
him. 'Cause
wound
that's what
and
stuff
killed
it is. Yeah.
Right.
Right on. All right. So. Boom.
good to know. Bam. That's combat. So these guys are there, and you're like, oh shit, we can't drop this here, and that's like you have to run and leave, and figure out other ways and why these Martians are out to get you.
Also, I really hurt that one dude.
Yeah.
Actually, I really hurt both. One, I killed one of them, maybe.
So you want to do some advancements and have me kill you, or do you want to end it here?
How long is it going to take to do the advancements?
We could just not do advancements, and I could just
send something big at you.
Yeah,
and
send
kill you.
something big at me
All
real
right.
quick. Let's
Okay.
I was going to say, because I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, sorry, you do too. What am I saying?
So here we
normally,
go.
this is a little different. Normally in the Wileyverse, we went a little over. We were both overzealous. This system is really tough, and I got a lot of lore in my brain. But normally what we do at this point, we do the character creation, we do the lore, do the character creation, we do some interactions. So this one we did some like ship stuff, we moved around, we did some things, got into combat. Then we normally level the character up again to see what it would look like if you played a couple of campaigns or you played a couple sessions. So now I'm level 5 or level 3, and then he brings something out that's like level 12, so you can see both.
Yeah.
So here we saw a very, very weak Belter and his very, very weak assistant with no weapons, no combat. But we're running out of time to do the up build, so he's just going to send something big against us.
And wipe him out.
And we'll try out. Let's see. I'm going to take my fortune back.
Yep. And erase your injured.
Can I have some sort of weapon for this? So
Yep.
let's give him a pistol or something.
You have a pistol.
That has an attack roll attached to it and stuff. Pistols.
So pistol is accuracy.
All right.
Let's go ahead and give you the pistol's
So just
focus.
pistol is a pistol
Yep.
focus. All right. So I've learned after that scary event, I've learned how to use a pistol. And I've spent some time doing it. So the attack roll, what do I write here?
That is your +3
+3.
because it's your +2 for your focus, +1 for your.
And the damage on the pistol is 1.
Is 1d. Pistol is 2d6 plus your perception.
Ooh, I've got some perception. All right, so +2. All right.
All right. So some time goes by. You get embroiled and piss off Martians. Like this whole thing is, they had a stealth ship. It was out doing maneuvers and testing. That poor hapless miner just happened to be out there, and it saw it. So killed, taken the black box. You guys found this. The OPA now knows about this. Spider ships. The Martians are pissed off at you. So this is down the line. You think you're in the clear, and that's all behind you. And you get a salvage request for it's an evacuated station. It was a jump point. It was an old station that was becoming unstable.
Mm-hmm.
So they evacuated it, and it became a jump point for colonists. So they would stay there, just attached to the thing and go on. But it hasn't been used in years. But they're thinking that, hey, maybe some people left stuff on there. They want to go just get stuff out of it.
Yeah.
So your ship goes up, you attach, you walk in, you're in vac suit. Some of the places inside still have atmosphere, or not atmosphere, but they're not in space. But almost all the life support has been turned off for years. So even inside in locked compartments, you're not going to have fresh air or anything like that. You're walking through. She's still in the ship scanning for stuff, and you discover as you're going through, you walk into a place. It's kind of like a big lab or just like open room with those desks. You remember science class?
Oh, yeah.
Big woodtop 2-person desks, stacked
Gas
up.
line.
Yeah, with a little thing. It's kind of like that. And you realize real quickly that this is a setup as a Martian soldier in full power armor steps out, and he steps out and looks at you, and it's I'm not going, I have honor, I'm just not going to shoot you from the shadows, but there's
You're
also,
gonna die.
there's nothing you can do against him type of thing. So he steps out, looks at you, and it's the...
Initiative roll.
Yeah. He's going to let you go first.
Ooh, I'm gonna shoot at him.
Yeah.
All right, so this is just my pistol is my 3d6 plus 1 is my accuracy.
And +2 from your...
So +3, so it's just whatever this +3.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
That's what that rolls from.
Yay! What a good time to roll a 10. Oh, 13.
13? That hits.
A what?
Yeah, he's
Really?
defense 12.
Oh, that's right, because he's not very quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so pew 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 pew. 5.
Okay. His armor plus toughness is 16. Yeah. Pink, pink, pink. You realize that
Sweet.
there is absolutely nothing you can do to this power armor. He lifts up his arm.
I use my move action to throw some stuff off the desk.
You can go prone.
Oh.
and behind the desk.
Can I hide? Is there a move that a thing take cover?
There's take cover. Like I said,
take
you
cover
can get behind.
Action?
Mm-hmm.
Or then take cover. Yeah.
Yeah. So you use your move action. You can drop Pwn behind the desk. You can just move and crouch down on the desk.
I thought you just meant like I lay on the ground.
No. Like you just go into cover.
It's like what is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Should we like put a bag on our head and lay on the floor? I mean, you
All
can
right.
if you like.
So he.
I yell over the comm. Shit! I don't know. Shit isn't button limits. It should be in here.
It should be in there. Yeah, I think I have it up on mine because I have the swear words.
Words about people. Say.
Shit, crap, poop is caca.
It is. I didn't say it right. Caca.
Caca falota is oh shit. All right. He lifts up his arm, which has an under-attached rotary machine gun, and starts laying waste.
I don't have to hear it because there's no.
No sound in here.
It's like,
just see things exploding. And I don't remember if it was stunt. I think it's his rifle style. Allows him to destroy cover.
oh boy!
So
He just has to succeed. At least this is always 3d6.
Yeah.
I mean, plus a bunch, I'm sure.
5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15, your defense is 12, but it has bonuses because you're behind cover.
Doesn't he destroy the cover then? He still has to beat.
He still has to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still hitting. Like he's going to hit the cover, but he can also straight up hit you.
Yeah.
Through the cover. Oop, cover. So you're behind rating 3 cover, which gives a -3 to his attack penalty. So he had a 5.
He had an 11 plus whatever he had before.
Plus 5, so 16.
Minus 3 is 13.
Does that still hit you?
My defense is 13. So
Yeah, he hits you. So he just like sprays and catches you either through the weak wood of the cover or your legs hit
or the
now.
fact that I'm just wearing a vac suit.
Yeah. So, the integral rifle doing 3d6 plus perception damage and capable of throwing automatic weapon stunts. I didn't roll stunts, so I didn't doubles. So, 3d6 plus perception, which is plus 3 for him. 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. His rounds are armor piercing, so you don't get to count your padding or your vac suit. So, it's just your 2.
So
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, minus 2. You have 11 damage to deal with.
so
Ooh, hold on.
Plus we're in a vac suit. Isn't there some damage to this? Is there anything written in there about being
There's going to be punctures and all that kind of happiness going on.
We won't go over all that. So
Yes. You're going to have a couple rounds before that's going to start affecting you.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. I'm just looking up.
Look what up.
I was like trying to figure out what I was looking up.
I thought you said I could just look it up. And I'm like, what are you looking at?
Also, in this game, like if we had the time to level up, you can get specialties, which are like talents, but even better.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that earlier, but I figured I was going to.
And that's like, I'm a sniper, I'm a techie, I'm a hacker, and you start getting your list
of some sort.
Well, that's just a talent. He actually doesn't have a specialty, but he does have rifle style, which.
I keep wanting to like wipe these hairs off the pages, but they're the marks,
Rifle style. So you can assume a highly ready stance, so that allows him to move and shoot anytime, any gesture is to power punch through. So the attack roll modifier for a target behind light cover does not apply to your attacks with the rifle. You are behind heavier cover. This includes the penalty for human shield action stuff. All right. So.
Well, I'm not very bright, and I know I can't outrun him, so I'm just going to lean over and fire again.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, wait, no, I'm not going to do any damage.
Nope.
Shit, I'm going to try to run then.
Okay.
Back out the way I came.
So, you're not going to have to... Actually, you're going to have to make a constitution check because your suit is in the air.
Oops, that was a 3.
Actually, no, you used fortune to get rid of it. So you didn't get hit.
So don't you know?
Oh, I haven't been hit at all. That's right.
Yeah, you negated all the things. It just tore up the cover. Sprayed stuff on you, wood and splinters. Like you're like, oh my god, and you're getting the hell out of there.
Yeah. Should know we're not supposed to do that. I can't hit it.
Yeah.
Throw my gun. Ding.
I
could have made a call shot, but I had to roll. It's a stunt.
Yeah, it's a stunt, and
even then, I don't think I'd be able to pierce his glass. It's combat armor,
right?
Yeah.
So you start running through the chambers between you. He has rifle expert, which allows him to move and fire, and he's just running through the desks because he gets a plus 10 to effective strength. So his effective strength is 13.
Jesus. Yeah, so he could pretty much liquefy paper, yeah.
And he's shooting at you going through the next room.
All right.
I'm going to say that you're still maintaining, trying to keep things between you and him, so you have that medium cover of a -2. Oh, stunts with 6 points.
12, 17.
And the quarterback is toast.
17 minus 2, so that you're showing 15.
All right, so he's going to wound you.
Ugh. I'm already injured. Oh, no, I wasn't injured. That was from previous.
Yeah, that was from previous. So he straight just gives you a wound. Oh, yeah, because you're down half your fortune. Your attack imposes wounding conditions so long as its damage exceeds the target's toughness, which I'm sure it's going to. So you're automatically wounded. You still have the injury. Let's see what else he can do.
Well, and the injury was from way before.
Yeah, no, that's erased. Like I told you.
Yeah, I took it off. Yeah.
But you still have injury to mitigate damage. That's what I'm saying. You still have your injury open. Yeah. And he's going to skirmish you, moving you 2 meters so you can't get out of the room this turn. So he maneuvers to the point where you have to, if you want to stay behind, or you're staying behind cover, and that puts the door farther away from you. So he's trying to cut off your escape. Damage for the rifle.
Fucking 12.
15, 16, 17. 2, so 6, 12, 13, 14, plus 3, 17.
My toughness is 2, plus the walls are 2. The medium cover is...
The medium cover takes off his attacks.
Oh, not his damage.
Not his damage.
Okay.
So 17 minus 2 is 15. You have to mitigate 15 damage.
I've got 4 here.
That's 4, so that puts it to 11. You have only the injury, which means you have only 1d6, and you cannot get an 11.
Oh, so
you're taking out.
Cool. Alright, that was it. I survived longer than I thought I would.
You survived longer than your vampire.
Yeah, that's true. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, this is a Martian soldier in the most advanced power armor in the system. This is like what they were in when they were running across. And
38 fortune, 12 defense, 14 speed. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
And that's what it's for. That's what it would do.
Yeah, you go up against Martian elite.
That's why nobody ever takes these guys on the ground. That's what's so crazy is the MCRN has the strongest navy in the world, but their battle armor is equally as formidable. So people are like, let's just deal with the ships. We can't.
They also have mechs. Besides power armors, they have 14-foot tall power robots that fight.
I think Belters have construction equipment that's similar, but not like this.
Yeah, not because they have almost ship grade weaponry on these things.
No kidding.
And it's no one fights them. They'll nuke it with a ship, torpedo.
Well, they send these against gun emplacements and vehicles and stuff like that. They don't do ground combat with these against other combatants.
Yeah.
All right.
So that is The Expanse. That's the Wiley vs. Mitch second episode in the can. Next Tuesday, so we have a lot of games we want to run, but there's so many new additions coming out now that it's hard to I'd be showing you a game that's then outdated in a month. So next week we might just be doing D&D, or I might go deep on some of these games, find some old ones. Yeah. But thank you for watching.
Yeah, the couple guys that popped in, it's always good to see Poison and Knowledge. Hippo. Giant hippo guy. Thanks for coming down.
That Nabicus guy.
Nabicus. It's always good to see Nabicus. Thank you guys for coming down. If you missed this or if you didn't watch the whole thing, Wiley uploads these to his YouTube channel, which is at the bottom of the screen. He's pretty regular about it. We've got lots of content there. You can see our D&D one-offs. You can see our long-term riffs and Dragonborn campaigns, along with we're building these Wiley versus Mitch ones. And there's also some board games that got tossed. I don't know if you're uploading those to the YouTube channel.
I haven't. I'm going to, but I haven't yet. And we definitely need to whip out some of these games and play some.
Plus, you can always stick around too. We play on Wednesdays all the time at 9:30 Arizona time, which is currently Pacific time. But we show up a lot for random stuff. We do this Tuesday as much as we can. We'll be here this Sunday. We do other Sundays. And every so often when we get the bug in our ass, we do something on Thursday or Monday. You never know. Just stick around.
We are hopefully looking for a Sunday game this week that will be a continuation of a kind of side campaign we're doing, which left off at a pretty big cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. So, good stuff all around. Thank you for joining in. This has been the Wileyverse.